It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, Daddy's home, boys. I will serve no fries before their time. Back in the saddle, Rothman and Ice, Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and that man is a loose cannon. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's great to see you again. I know you were hurting a little bit. You gave us a bit of a Jordan flu game. What was that on Wednesday? You fought through it, and then it finally shut you down, which is okay. It happens to the best of us.
We were up in the series 3-0 that week.
You know, hand the keys over to TLC, hopped on the mic with me on Thursday. Thanks to Austin Ward for coming in on Friday. So you had a couple guys, they are coming out of that bullpen door and giving us some good innings. And so, yeah, man, it's great to see you in decent health, good health.
Yeah,
how we feeling?
I don't know what percentage you'd want to put on it. Yeah. I went with the Dr. Belcher, Budweiser, and Benadryl, and he didn't tell me the dosage. So I must have taken that script, and that was it for the week.
Okay.
So, listen, I'm climbing out of it. I hated to miss. Of course, it's one of those things where you have to decide whether you're going to be a liability or an asset to the squad, right? This isn't just roll the ball out there. And
you're not Stephen A. calling out, what was it, Darius Garland at the time or whoever it was.
It was.
For the Cavs.
It was Garland. And by the way, he knew he was going to fight through it the next game, so it was so premeditated.
Oh, man.
And then it made it sound like he was the one that motivated him to rise up and play.
Come on.
But it was one of those deals where I'm just like, okay, you can sit at home and talk to someone normally and watch TV and feel like, you know what, I could go in and host a radio show today. And then what you don't realize, and I'm not trying to make this sound like it's, brain surgery. I'm just telling you there's an energy, there's a focus, there is, and it takes a lot out of you. You know what it's like? And you hate this, and probably for this reason. People think that they can get in a car and drive 8 hours. Oh, I'm just going to go on a relaxing drive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to fly. I'll just drive. And what you realize is that the mental awareness it takes to be behind the wheel of a car, no matter what you're doing, listening to music, cruise control on at 70, whatever.
Hopefully listening to the Rothman and Ice podcast.
I figured they were out of the area dominant influence at that point if they're going 8 hours.
Just saying, hey, wherever you get your podcast, all you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice.
True.
And you can take us on You can take us on every road trip.
That's true. You know what? You got to remind yourself of that.
Hey,
just because you're out of just because you get into static doesn't mean
we're always there for you.
You got to just tune into whatever at that moment
to haunt you as well.
And I did feel badly because you know how much I have kind of cultivated and loved the Gold Jacket Thursdays.
Oh, yeah, it's your baby.
And when Warren Sapp was going to come on last Thursday, I thought, all right, we could get into some stuff. Now, I failed you guys because I've been out of the mix. I haven't had a chance to go back and listen to it. But
buddy,
I've been told that we are working on getting all of the Gold Jacket interviews as I've been pushing. How long have I been pushing for this?
It's been a few months.
Few months? If by a few months you mean a year and a half? All right. So, and what we're going to do is we'll be able to direct you to, if you missed any of them, you can just go and each link will be there with each guy, and then they will live forever, hopefully, long after I'm out of here. So tell me this. I have not heard it.
Yeah.
He is one of the most notorious crap talkers that ever walked or suited up. He was probably the original just crap talker.
That alarm clock went off a long time ago. You can go to the next subject.
Wait, what did he say?
Well, that's what. Hold on. Wait a second, TLC. I have not heard the interview. Because I know he's antsy. Because that response came from a TLC question. No. When we got done with the interview, I looked at TLC and I said, we got the full Warren Sapp experience. If you have not paid attention or had not paid attention to his career outside of knowing the name, right, and seeing him be a part of a Super Bowl winning team in Tampa and all that, if you really didn't, well, even when I'm saying that, it's like you kind of know what Warren Sapp is. But I think what happened, AR, is we went on this emotional roller coaster with Warren Sapp. When I got done with the interview with TLC, it wasn't shocking to me that we got a little pushback, some what word do I want to use? Because I want to be careful here. We got some resistance from Warren Sapp when it comes to
turbulence.
So thank you. Some of the experiences that he had in his career, some of the questions that were thrown at him. I understand what TLC was trying to do.
Were you getting into like the Bettis Sapp stuff and the push, all that? What were you? Okay.
What did you want to ask him? I'll tell you whether or not he would have wanted to answer that question.
Well, actually, I was going to go more into the football part of it. I think that if once we got into those waters to see how choppy they were, maybe I would have gone into the deep end. But what I really wanted to know was, did he feel like they had the Raiders playbook in the Super Bowl the way I thought they did with Gruden and knowing the Raiders and all that? I was kind of going into that Super Bowl and how they just took them apart, but you tell me. I'm more interested in the personal stuff. So
explain to AR the clip that you played for him. You got to break that down for him and how you got to that point.
I asked the question about a touchy subject. However, I think I approached the question in a fair way that was related to football. I asked about the draft. I said my initial lead in. I guess I could have done without this comment, but just my what I said was, you were a bit of a wild card heading into the draft. Obviously, we've all seen the clip of the Jets fans chanting your name, and they end up taking Kyle Brady.
Okay.
Who did you think was going to draft you?
And he said what?
And he said that alarm clock went off a long time ago.
That alarm clock went off a long time ago. You can go to the next subject.
I thought that was a football-based question.
Okay. First of all, I love the line from Warren Sapp. I had never heard that before.
Oh, yeah. Now we're referencing that left and right.
That alarm clock went off a long time ago. You can move on to the next subject.
He went 12th?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys, so if you want to go back, this is back in the 90s. This is way back. So I'm glad you asked. And you asked it in a fairly nice way because you could have, and he's right, 30 years is
the alarm clock went
a long time. Guy's a Hall of Famer. He might have thought you were going back, bringing up do you guys know what happened before the draft?
Drugs?
Yeah. Well, yes, there were reports of cocaine use, marijuana use, and they felt, his camp, that someone was trying to sabotage his draft status.
Larry Tunsil Part 1?
Well, that was
original
that was a visual. That was a visual. But when his tests were revealed the night before the draft, so to Maddie's point, that they felt that it was, I don't know if it was ever confirmed, denied, whatever it was, it came out the night before the draft, and that's why he went into a little tumble. So by you saying you were a bit of a wild card, that probably fed into something for him that we don't need to go down that road. Interesting, though.
I had football intentions.
Yeah. Yes, I could see that.
He also didn't really want to answer our Colorado questions. And honestly, we didn't try to steer him in any certain direction.
No, what were the Colorado
You asked about Shedeur, I asked about Travis Hunter.
I did. I asked about Shedeur, AR, and I said, I know you've been on the staff the last couple of years, and, what do you think Cleveland Browns fans are getting with Shedeur? And he really didn't want to go down that road either. We're talking about him and what he's seen at anything. It's as far as what type of dude is he, what type of teammate is he, what type of quarterback is he. He really didn't give us much on that. Anything, pretty much saying, I know he's going to handle his business, move on.
Listen, he was as dominating of any guy we've ever seen. As Cole put it, he was a wild card every step of the way, whether it was bumping refs or... You know what I would have wanted to ask him?
Put a jersey on?
I would have wanted to ask him how close he was to becoming a Bengal.
I did ask him that.
Oh, you did?
Yes. That was the one thing that we actually got him rolling on. Because he then readdressed Mike Brown later.
20 years ago.
He dunked on Mike Brown twice in the same interview.
Right.
Here's what I will say. Outside of the alarm clock line from TLC's question.
Hear one more time.
And
that alarm clock went off a long time ago. You can go to the next subject.
And him really not giving me anything on Shedeur. The interview itself I thought was good. He told some funny stories.
Yeah.
Like, he was into it. But like I said, you got the Warren Sapp experience. It'd be like, I'm a big wrestling fan. If I went to an autograph signing for a heel, which is a bad guy in wrestling, like the bad guy I would expect to give me some crap when I go get an autograph. It's kind of what I expected going down that road with Warren Sapp. I wasn't sitting here thinking he was going to be all peaches and cream about everything because he's been that way going back to the 90s since he was in college and all the way through the NFL and his broadcasting career. So overall, I thought the interview was pretty good. And then baked into that, you got some Warren Sapp stuff.
Okay. I'm almost happy I'm happy that you guys got to experience that. I'm almost feeling like that was good. That was good that you guys got to do that.
Oh, I got plenty of texts about it, and so did he.
Okay.
It was great.
So it's worth the listen, folks. Yeah. It's not what your typical Gold Jacket Thursday interview would be, but it's worth a listen. It's interesting.
Do you think that I'm going to get some sort of text or an email from Canton saying,
no,
that's a wrap?
Oh, no.
Okay. No, not at all.
I do believe he's first ballot, I think. And I don't believe my guess, and I'd have to confirm, it's an educated guess. Mean Joe Green, Merlin Olsen, I remember, first ballot. Bob Lilly, him. There's a fifth.
Was it Randy White?
Randy White, Dallas Cowboy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So there, I do think he's one of 5 first ballot NFL Hall of Famers. But my goodness, that was a journey. Who knew what you were walking into? Did you guys think you were walking into something that was going to be fun and entertaining? All right, good.
I'm glad we got all of that. It's exactly what I wanted it to be, honestly.
I really didn't think that we were going to get that. I thought we were going to get a little bit more laughy Warren Sapp.
We got that, too.
You could get that, too.
We got everything.
Yeah. He also didn't like my John Gruden question.
What was that?
I asked him something about, like, how long did it take for John Gruden to win over the locker room? Because I imagine Tony Dungy was pretty popular, and he gave me, it's a business. It's just how it goes. There's nothing to it.
I almost feel like we need to play it for you.
Well, not all of it.
No, I think you should hear the whole thing.
On my own time?
No, I mean, there might be some people listening that missed it.
We'll do it tomorrow.
It was great.
We'll map that out. Let's think it through. We'll sketch it out.
Then you can review it for us and tell us if we destroyed your legacy while you were gone.
Warren, our producer's filling in today. Can you go over your domestic battery for us?
Yeah.
We'd like to hear more about that. Boy, there's a lot there. All right, good job, boys. That's good. That's not an easy one. That's one of those you got to be ready for whichever way that's going to go. All right, we will have our usual stuff on a Monday. Party Like a Raw Star coming up at 12:48. We'll get into next, of course, the pay to play, and maybe the one part of it that we really need to find out and what type of responsibility will come with it for the player. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Dr. Marta Lavelle of Urbana and Darby Dental Smiles on having First Bank of Central Ohio as a partner.
It has been great working with First Bank of Central Ohio. They helped me achieve a huge goal, becoming a business owner. The bank made it so easy. They helped me through the whole process. It's been great ever since.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. And Rich and his team are ready to get you in a great new Honda this spring. Purchase or lease. He's going to make you feel awesome about your next vehicle and your experience. Grab a hold of this one, a 2025 Honda Accord Hybrid Sport Lease it for only $347 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles, and only $19.99 down. He's got rates as low as 2.9%. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
T-Bone and Tybus.
Every year is only about 5 or 6 schools that could potentially win it all.
Well, if they had 6 this year, Ohio State wouldn't have been one of them.
T-Bone and Tybus Mornings on the Fan is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Got a teen athlete? Then you know putting in the hours is all part of the game. But did you know the same goes for learning how to drive? Because just like playing a sport, learning to drive takes practice. The only difference is the stakes are even higher. 50 hours of practice time driving with you? Worth every minute. Gear up at teachyourteentodrive.ohio.gov.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers and thunderstorms developing into the early afternoon, some which could be on the stronger side with gusty winds. Afternoon highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 50s overnight with some patchy fog developing in some places across central Ohio. Otherwise, we clear out and see more sunshine in Tuesday's forecast with highs in the mid to upper 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best teams don't always win titles. Sounds like AR and Maddie bragging about their fantasy teams.
Hey, that's cheating!
This is Rothman and Ice.
This is new, but it's not. It's convoluted stuff. It's more money than you could ever even relate to. We knew it was a $1 billion industry. And the players are going to get their share. They've been getting their share from an NIL standpoint, but you're always going to have the haves and have-nots even on your own team. The stars will get paid, retaining the players. We see what it is. Transferring, who's going to pay me more or less. I'm not putting everybody on the same deal. I never have, I never will. Each case is different, but I think the overall theme of this is that these schools are going to be giving up a lot of their own money now to share with their athletes. And the NIL was fine. It was somebody else's money. They had to get people to donate to the collectives, but it wasn't the schools giving up their revenue share or sharing up to $20 million with their athletes. That's about 22% of their revenue from things of, media rights and ticket sales and sponsorships. And we'll have to see where it all goes. It might, listen, you pass on things. I don't know whether Ohio State or other big schools will hike up concessions more, different athletic fees to slap on stuff.
New suites.
It feels all that stuff you don't have to pay for if you don't want to, if you don't want it.
I'm just saying it. All that stuff's part of this pot, right?
Yeah.
It's finding different ways to bring in new coin and push this coin out to your rosters. It's a whole new world, a new fantastic point of view, depending on your point of view.
Well, the third parties are still allowed to cut deals with players. That will still happen.
Yeah, that's massive.
And it's just a new reality in college sports as they have to land top talent and keep top talent. The top quarterbacks, we had learned over time, were getting paid around, $2 million a year? Eats up about 10% of a typical school's NIL budget for all of its athletes. And what they're trying to get rid of is this free-for-all, where the big schools can just buy the talent, own the talent, do whatever they want, and try to just outspend everybody. But, they're all these teams are about equal. Some of the top-ranked teams have the same type of access to cash. What I was getting at before the break was, if they're going to start paying their athletes directly a portion of this $20 million, and we'll have Dan Wetzel on, who's the ESPN senior writer at 2:30, to talk about this new business of college sports and how it will all be divided. I'm just starting to wonder, when does the athlete bear any responsibility for performance? Or is that just, you're not playing well, next guy up?
Talk about incentivizing maybe some of this stuff.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Or not living up to it. Now, I don't know if that's legal. I really don't know. If I'm paying a quarterback $2 million a year and not with an injury, he starts playing like you know what, and I got to put the next guy in. Do I have a $2 million quarterback on my bench?
Feels that way to me right now. I don't know if that's exactly the truth. Now we have to go down this path again and wonder, will we ever have signatures on a contract when it comes to the money and the situations that you're talking about? How far we've come, AR.
Shouldn't they?
How far we've come. I don't know if I would necessarily need it to be incentivized based off of team goals or individual goals, but honoring a contract in some way, I would not be opposed to at all for these guys to get this massive money that's out there, because based off this new agreement that came to fruition over the weekend and the what looks like $20.5 million cap, if you will, and it's crazy that we're using these words to talk about college sports, but that's where we're at now. And we've seen this brewing for years and years and years, and now it's on full display. And so these kids are eating well, to say the least, because you're going to be able to me, based off everything I read, AR's double dip here. And so you will have that $20.5 million cap for each program or each university, however they want to allocate that to the football program, the basketball program, all these other sports, whatever however it hits for each university, it's going to be different. But we know basketball and football generate a lot of this, as they have for years. So I'm assuming a bulk of that will go to those guys and gals. But these kids right now, you're talking about getting that money from your university. And also, let's say if you are quarterback X at Ohio State, you can have, to me, what sounds like your money from Ohio State and also from company A, B, and C, Starbucks, Express, whoever. You can still endorse those and get 2 checks from your university and get your NIL money as well. What I find, there's a lot of intrigue to me baked into this. But it feels to me, AR, that the stronger are only going to get stronger and stay strong, and maybe even the weaker now are going to become even weaker. And the reason why I think that is when you look at these Group of 5 programs, these lower-level Power 4 programs, they could be in trouble if you can't fully fund that $20.5 million every year. Like, I don't know, or a lot of these programs going to be able to do that. I don't think Ohio State's going to have an issue in doing that. So when you don't meet that number, my mind goes to, well, how well can you construct a competitive roster? And that's a big part of where we're going with college football, specifically with the college football playoff, is that when you look at some of these teams that are going to get in, whether you're a lower level Power 4, Group of 5, whatever it looks like, are you going to have the dudes? It's always going to come down to the Jimmies and the Joes, and I don't think some of these mid-level programs year in and year out will have the financial backing to really stay in the mix and have good players top to bottom to maybe clip some of these big-time programs around the sport.
Well, how are they getting them now?
Which programs?
All those ones you're talking about, the lesser programs. They're getting them now somehow. There are only so many scholarships to hand out at these big schools. Some of these kids have to go somewhere.
I'm going to, when you are, let's just use Boise State as an example. You can have one Ashton Genty on your roster and probably pay him a few $1 million, couple $1 million, whatever it looks like. I don't know if Boise State can get to player 10, 15, 20 on your roster and be able to financially back good players at the same level as an Ohio State, Clemson, Bama, because they're going to have, I think, a deeper financial pool to work with. I don't know. I don't know.
I agree with that. I agree with it. The rich will continue to have money coming in, but it's not like every kid can go to the big school. He may not be good enough, and they may not have room for him. He's got to go somewhere. Some of these schools could find a way, especially maybe basketball, to put more money into that one mega star and see if you could land him.
That also goes to, AR, how the player's wired as well, because you're right. You're right that you could have that, especially in basketball, but do you want to be shooting guard X at this university and making this amount of money without any good players around you? And that's just going to go down to every individual player, and I get that. But to me, that's also another branch off this tree, too, is that, you can go to this program and get a decent amount of money, have your name on the marquee and all those things, but how good is your team going to be?
I love how it's being packaged as it feels like we're supposed to think like now you can police it. Now there's a cap, and there'll be a monitoring system, and all of a sudden now if you can't spend to the cap, okay, but you can't go over it, and it'll be monitored. It's, to me, they've been doing this forever anyway, and now it's just a way to get more money to these athletes that have been providing the entertainment, and that's where it is. I don't even have a feel for it anymore. I'm almost kind of, we'll watch the games. We do. We know they're going to try. They're competitors. Even more so, they should really want to try because the money they're getting paid. Like before it was good old college try.
Yeah.
I'm a college athlete and I'm going to try. Now it's, are they going to be as incentivized? Or are they always going to be looking for that next handout? I do worry about the playoff. I said it a couple years ago. What if I get in? What if my team gets in as a 10 seed? Will they have the same fight? Will those players want to risk their pro careers to play multiple playoff games? I think it's all in play now.
Yeah.
They'll be asking for more every step of the way. Now, if this cap solves it, great. Maybe that's it. Maybe you pull out your empty pockets to, hey, we've given you enough. Look what happened to Nico.
Mm-hmm.
They took a stand.
Mm-hmm.
You keep altering the deal.
See ya.
We can't do it, nor do we not. We want a culture. We can't keep saying all this stuff and not matter at all.
It comes to a point to where you have to dig in the way that they did, and respect to Josh Heupel and the AD down at Tennessee for digging in. And now it looks like Nico is in a lesser football situation. Mm-hmm. And also the financial situation for Nico is tricky because of the state tax and how high that is in California as well. So all that stuff goes in it. It's all messy, AR. It really is all messy. This provided some structure, but to me does not make it as black and white as I know some people want it to be. And I don't know if that'll ever be the case. But this is a pretty significant step in the world of NIL.
Yeah, for people asking today, like, what's different? The players have been getting paid since 2021 with NIL. But now the school can pay the money directly to the athletes, and the collectives are still in the game.
No doubt.
We'll come back in 2 minutes. We'll do more of this in the final hour with Dan Wetzel. Aaron Rodgers did accept third choice money We'll explain that next in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-494-6139.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
When was the last time you had your plumbing inspected? Small issues such as tiny leaks or old water heaters can quickly turn into big problems if they're not caught early. Take action with Logan Services and schedule a free plumbing safety inspection to help keep your home running smoothly. Schedule your free inspection now and experience the fast, friendly service you've come to expect from Logan Services.
Check it. Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double. Check it. Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly.
Check it. Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony's hidden talent is weaving a movie quote into every conversation. It's mostly not annoying. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Started thinking during the break. These athletic departments are basically running talent agencies. That's what they are. That's it. Hire the talent. Maybe they perform, maybe they don't. If this ever goes to like incentives or contractual stuff, it would be unbelievable. Because if they're being paid like pros, maybe they should be treated like pros. And then that's the ultimate meritocracy, where if you're not living up in their eyes to what they're paying you, like if you're an employee at a job and you're not living up to it and you have a contract, well, they'll find a way, whether it's a loophole or whether that contract ends, you will not be renewed. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And, you know, part of the game now is the retaining of your own roster. And that's such a big deal, whether you're Ohio State, whether you are Texas, whether you're USC, is that when you have really good talent up and down your roster, it's not only, hey, in the offseason, we got to go out and hit the portal and, you know, hit the old school recruiting trail. It's the guys that are in-house that are saying, okay, well, I did this for you. Here's what I'm hearing about the market around college football. Some of my high school buddies that are playing at this program, they're saying this is what their guys are getting over there. What are you going to do for me? And that's the tricky part as well, is like I can't imagine what, you know, this is just a guess, what the offseason was like for Jeremiah Smith coming off a natty, being the best wide receiver in college football as a true freshman. You go into this offseason with the world in your palm with, okay, well, yeah, I'm pretty sure Ohio State and Ryan Day are going to take care of me, but let me just make sure, right? And I think we all be a little naive to not think that other programs, other collectives were reaching out to he and his camp to say, Jeremiah, yeah, life's good for you. Coach Hartline, heck of a wide receiver coach. Coach Day, heck of a head coach. You're playing at Ohio State. But we got this money for you down here. So it's the competition every single offseason now for coaches to not only go out and get some of the best high school kids, but keeping your stars in the building as well. And a lot of it is rooted in this money.
None of the players, though, want it out there that either their family or themselves or their camp is holding a school hostage for more money. Nobody wants that out there.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Not a great look.
I don't think any star at Ohio State would want it out there that either they came back for more or they're asking for more or it's a bad look. But on the other side, the Ohio State fans give him what he wants, depending on who it is. So,
God, if that story would have come out that Jeremiah Smith was digging in, if that were, because we never saw anything like that, and Jeremiah just seems to be a rock-solid dude, I think that people would be pointing the finger at the football give him whatever he wants.
That's right.
Because he's that darn good. Now, Nico down at Tennessee, it wasn't a slam dunk with the talent, right? Like, there were the flashes there. Like, this kid could be good, but I think if he was a Heisman finalist last year, I think Josh Heupel in the Tennessee program, just my guess, you would catch a little bit more heat from the fan base to say, take care of the kid because he's that darn good and he makes the house rock on Saturday.
Aaron Rodgers lived up to what he said as far as the money.
Yeah.
Right?
He did.
$13 million. $10 million of it is guaranteed. So he said, basically, I play for 10. So he did that. What we're learning now that Adam Schefter reported and CBS Sports recently reported that the Steelers did not view Aaron Rodgers as their savior. That they first targeted Matt Stafford. And until his LA stuff was resolved, they were going at him pretty good. I don't know why he would want to go there unless it was just a money thing. And that would be very odd at that point of his career for a guy who can still win, I think, to go to Pittsburgh. This is the one that's interesting to me. That they tried to keep Justin Fields. And he went to the Jets. Now, my mind immediately goes to money, even though it's 2 years, $40 million, but I think only $30 million guaranteed. My mind says, Maddie, the Steelers didn't want to meet that they liked him, but I don't think they liked him that much. And then I started thinking about, what if I was him?
Justin.
And the money was equal.
Yeah.
Or close to it. And I said, what did they do? Well, all they waited for was Russell to get back healthy, and I got yanked at 4-2. And I was holding it together. Am I as good of a passer as Russell Wilson? I'm not. I mean, he has to know that. Maybe he could become a better passer, but he has some flaws. What makes him exciting is his youth and athletic ability and the fact that he still has some room to get better. And so I started thinking, I'm wondering if the reason they couldn't get him was because he didn't want to be gotten by them.
Maybe. You wronged me.
That's my feeling, unless it was the Steelers saying, we're not coming close to what you got.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But I think with the way that athletes are wired, and I think humans in general, I don't think you have to be an athlete to be in a situation to where you're doing something at a respectable level. It may not be great, right? It may not be in the 1%ers of what you do and wherever your job is, whatever the case may be. But you know you're not slacking or holding, the company back or the team back. And they push you away and push you to the sideline for a guy that he was good, but I don't think it was anything to really write home about as far as what we saw from Russ, and then it completely fizzled out in those last few games. I would not put it past Justin at all if he said, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to go explore other options, and now he's in a pretty decent situation with his former college teammate and playing in the big lights over there in Gotham City. That does surprise me a little bit, but AR, I think it's kind of like, when you and I are discussing our fantasy teams sometimes, and it's the guy that's doing some pretty good stuff for you, but you don't really want to let him go because it may come back to haunt you. And I think in the real football world for the Steelers, it was a tough decision, or maybe a tougher decision than what it could have been in the minds of some other people because of what you saw him do and also his age. And letting a guy like that go at that age, at that position, can be dicey. Doesn't surprise me at all that they were interested in Matthew Stafford. The dude is still playing at a high level. They've been dying to have a guy that can spin it consistently the way that he does. But now here Aaron Rodgers is. And I actually think it's a pretty good fit for the franchise. The hope is, I think what the hope should be, is that when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you get into some of these big-time matchups in your division with Joe Burrow, with Lamar, with some other headline programs or around this sport and say, okay, if our defense can keep us close in these games, Aaron Rodgers still has enough magic to bring it home. And they just haven't had a guy like that the last few years. So we'll see what magic he can cook up. I don't think he's an aircraft carrier anymore, but I think he's better than Mason Rudolph, and I think he will provide a safe floor for Pittsburgh this year.
That was my argument the whole time. Is he better than what you got? And he's at a bargain price. If he was a guy that still commanded in the mid-30s, then you got to pass. You got to say forget it. It's just that then you're just.
What if it was 1 year, AR? 1 for 30. Would you have done it?
I guess
just 1 year.
Well, it is just 1 year.
That's what I'm saying. If he was really dug in and said,
I don't think it's that. I don't
GM Rothman, I want to be a Steeler.
You know what I do? Honestly,
incentivize the heck out of it.
No, I go to my owner, and I say, "How badly do we need to win this year?"
And he comes back to you and says,
"How many games do we need to win this year?"
GM Rothman, the decision is yours. You make the call.
Well, if he says to me, "IBM presents," you make the call.
Didn't Jimmy Haslam pull that with Miles? Yes. Don't come talk to me. Go talk to Andrew Barry.
I'd have to go to my owner and say, "This is what we're projecting." With Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback, with everything we can use at our disposal, we're probably at best, if the running backs really kill, with Warren and now with Caleb Johnson
from Iowa. Yep,
we can lean on that running game, which we always do anyway, and that defense. We've got a chance to be a wild card team again. That's our projection. If without him, we're probably close, but probably not there. And if that's what I'm saying to him. But I need to know how this is tied to me. Mm-hmm. Because if it's tied to me and wins are the only thing that matters, then I have to go spend that money and get him somehow. But if it's more like this is, I don't know, Steeler football, butts in the seats, Aaron Rodgers, highest passer rating in the history of the league, he's not that guy. We know it. And Steeler fans are kind of I don't know how they feel.
Well, you got one over there.
How do you feel about this?
Well, it's hard to have a hot take. We've been talking about this for 4 months, so we had a lot of notice. But as it pertains to the whole Justin Fields angle, I'm with you. I really think that if I'm Justin Fields, I'm like, now you want me? And we probably weren't offering the same money that the Jets are, so that's fine. But I totally get why he would want to walk.
That.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear his thoughts when he joins us at 12:30 on Wednesday. But that's a horizontal tease, by the way. But just for me, if we brought Justin Fields back and he was our starter, that would have made no sense. Because I don't even think that highly of Russell Wilson. I'm like, if he wasn't good enough to start over Russell Wilson, why is he good enough to start now?
Well, he wasn't good enough in their eyes. He may think that he was, and he was winning, and he has more of a future than Russell. So a lot of Steeler fans would be like, I'd rather roll the dice.
Are we sure about that? Russell Wilson's older at the end of his career, but we're 5 years into this thing. We can't keep. At some point, we have to draw a line in the sand and say, hey, we can't keep doing this. Justin Fields is really athletic. We're just waiting for the arm to catch up.
That's this year. This is I think his last chance to prove to the league that I can be a starter. I think this is it.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
I'm cool with that because we keep doing his legs are really good, so we know he's a good athlete. We're just waiting for the arm to develop, and it's like, we're 5 years into this thing, man.
What are Steeler fans more fearful or hateful of? The fact they don't think he can play anymore, or the fact that he comes with all this BS drama?
Rodgers?
Yeah.
Well, I can speak for myself. It's definitely what's on the field. It's been 3 years since he's been good.
If he's not good, we'll pull out the Men in Black zapping toy.
Doesn't matter.
This will go away.
It only helps you.
You got 12 picks next year. You'll be able to reset at quarterback, hopefully, and get you a young guy. This is just...
The key to all of this was the money.
And it's not bad at all.
And it's cheap.
Yeah.
So I'm cool.
I mean, if he does everything they think and hope he can do, he'll make what, $20 million?
Get right there to $19.5 million. Yep.
All right, we'll come back. Party like a Roth star next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. I would know. I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my two best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Bishop and Friends.
I'll tell you this. There's no way he got rid of the crust. And he's like, well, I can get rid of the crust, but I'll be damned if I'm getting rid of this filling. Like, I'm still going to suck that down.
Bishop and Friends, sponsored by Diamond Cellar.
Weekdays from 9 to noon on The Fan.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Feeling like you've lost a step? You're not alone. After 35, most men start losing free testosterone, the hormone that helps you stay lean, strong, and energized. But now there's a game-changing solution. Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster from the #1 brand in America. Nugenix Total T2 is packed with even more men-boosting power, and it works fast. With a powerful nitric oxide booster, it sends your energy and performance levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours. That's right, just 3 hours to start feeling like your old self again. For a limited time, you could try it for yourself absolutely free. Text now to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 selling testosterone brand at GNC. But that's not all. When you send us a text, we'll also include a free bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever. Feel stronger, leaner, more driven. Text ROCK to 369-369 now. That's ROCK to 369-369. Text ROCK to 369-369.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contests, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Let's all gather into the Kiki. It's time to party like a Roth star.
All right, so much to get to. Probably some honorable mentions along the way.
Yeah.
Why don't I just lead with this? I think we have Celtics, Lakers, Yankees, Dodgers type series going on in the NHL. And it's Super Fight 2. It's Rocky versus Apollo, Panthers, Oilers. And the sequel is blowing away the original right now. Not that the original was bad, because it did go to 7, but not one game went to overtime over 7 games last year. And you know, game 1 was overtime, and then game 2 in double overtime, which means essentially through 2 games of the series, both have played an extra game through 2 games, which is amazing. But Brad Marchand, listen, at the trade deadline, joins the Panthers, has 3 goals in the first couple games here. He's always around the action. I told you last week I expected Sergei Bobrovsky to face a much bigger workload. He has, and he's answered so far. According to Money Puck, he has 9.2 goals saved above expected and owns a .961 when facing unblocked shots. That's his save percentage. Listen, he's the first guy now to begin the first two games of a Stanley Cup final with back-to-back 40-save performances. Game 3 tonight in South Florida. I just feel Party Like a Raw Star goes to the Stanley Cup final right now.
It's good stuff.
I don't know how they're going to get to the end of this thing, but I can't wait.
We got Game 3 tonight or tomorrow? It's tonight?
Right.
Okay, yeah, it'll be good stuff to tap into, that's for sure. Honorable mention right out of the gate. I'll make it quick. WWE listening to the people. We want truth. We want truth. Our truth, a.k.a. Ron Killings, is back. Took out John Cena at Money in the Bank with the belt. They got it right. They tried to let him walk because they couldn't figure out contract stuff, which was a whole bunch of BS. But they corrected that wrong. So WWE and our truth, partying like a raw star. Honorable mention for me out of the gate. First slot, though, officially going to two guys for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Give me SGA, the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and one of his running mates in Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso bringing that championship experience to this young Thunder team. He won a chip with LeBron and AD in LA a few years ago, but last night they got the Alex Caruso experience and more because this guy is an all-world defender. But when he is locked in on offense the way he was yesterday, that really makes OKC scary. He dropped 20 points, 4 of 8 from 3. Cool little story going on with Caruso because he started his career in Oklahoma City with the G League affiliate at the time for OKC, that being the Blue, the OKC Blue back in 2016. Mark Dagnall, the head coach right now for the Thunder, was the head coach for the G League team at the time. So Alex Caruso partying like a raw star, and then the face of the franchise, SGA, does it on 11 of 22 shooting, 52% from the floor. He dropped 34 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals. So SGA, Alex Caruso for the Thunder, partying like a raw star.
Yeah, that felt like a lock after they just embarrassingly blew game 1.
Halliburton does it again.
15 in the fourth. Woo. But yes, he has shown throughout the playoffs. They were serious last night, though. They know they have to now. No lead is safe against them.
That's what the Pacers do. I'm watching the game last night. I'm like, it's a 20-point lead. Can't turn the game off. No. Not with Halliburton in the game.
Better start hitting some twine, though, on the long ones. All right, I'm going to mention a player who was drafted in the 3rd round in 2018 out of Florida State. He was drafted by Seattle. His name is Cal Raleigh. He's a catcher. He's played 63 games this year. He's hit 26 home runs.
Talk about him.
That means he's hit 7 in his last 10 games, 2 on Saturday. It also means that Cal Raleigh has hit the most home runs by a primary catcher in his first 63 games than anyone in history. Yeah. He's currently got 3 more than Shohei this year. He's 5 up on Aaron Judge. Now, did I mention he also has to catch during a game?
He's like that.
The kid they call the Big Dumper is unreal. So I looked this up. So Johnny Bench had 28 home runs in 87 games played, first 87. Raleigh has the 26 and 63. Ivan Rodriguez had 26 and 80. There's no definition of being on fire for this kid. It's now there will be regression. He will not be able to keep this up.
Will he get to 50?
Well, 40 is a lock, it feels like. I think that's a great number.
Will he get to 50? 49 and a half. You taking the over or the under?
Boy, it feels like I'd love to get him to 50.
I'd go under, though. I would go under.
I know, because now it's on the radar and they'll be, I don't know, pitching around him or whatever. But the fact that he's 3 up on Shohei and 5 up on Judge, live in the moment, party like a raw star.
Good stuff. I will go with a big bopper as well in a different lineup, and I'm going with my Cincinnati Reds. And I want to talk about Christian Encarnacion Strand, a.k.a. CES. He's back. He was on the IL for a little bit. He was supposed to be, AR, the heavyweight in the middle of the lineup. We saw some of that this weekend. Arizona Diamondbacks come into town. 3 straight games for CES with a home run, 6 RBIs over those 3 games, 7 total hits in the series. This is what they envision, is him hitting behind McClain, him hitting behind Ellie, him hitting behind Friedel, and having those guys on the bags for him to clear off the bags via the home run. CES was doing it big time down at GABP this weekend. He was partying like a raw star.
All right. We'll hit the top of the hour, and we'll come back. I'll hit you with a couple more honorable mentions. One that I talked about years ago that's certainly coming to fruition, and it was epic. We'll get to the top of the hour here, and there's some pressure on a couple of big-time players, and they're in the same division. Tell you that after a SportsCenter update. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with a thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
When you're ready to sell your car, another reason to choose Hinderer Motor Company is the easy, fast, fair, and hassle-free way to sell. This is Justin Hinderer. We pay top dollar for your vehicle, whatever the make or model, and no purchase is necessary. Consider trading and get even more toward your next vehicle. Drive in today and leave with cash or get a great deal. See why it's a pleasure doing business. Just visit HindererMotorCompany.com.
Summer is finally here. That means long days, warm nights, barbecues, sporting events, and that vacation you've been planning for months. The last thing you want to deal with is a leaking roof or unexpected damage to your home. At Newman Roofing, we understand that life gets busy and your time is important. And that's why we designed our entire process around you. Whether it's your roof, siding, or gutters, we believe in doing things the right way, not the rushed way. No high-pressure sales, no pushy pitches, just honest conversations from professionals who respect your time and your home. When you call Newman Roofing, here's what you can expect. First, we'll take time to diagnose the issue, not just slap on a quick fix. Then we'll present clear, quality solutions and answer your questions so you can make the best decision for your family and your budget. And right now, we're offering special financing options so you can protect your home without putting your summer plans on hold. So go ahead, fire up the grill, pack your bags, or hit the ball field. Let Newman Roofing take care of the rest. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And betting reduced juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Reliable streams of income are crucial for retirees, and Social Security and pensions aren't enough. We can help. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.
Check it.
Keno Double Booster is back every Monday in June. For all Keno tickets with Booster purchased between 3 and 5 o'clock, the Booster will be double.
Check it.
Your winnings could be boosted by as much as 20 times. Don't miss out. Get your Keno ticket with Booster every Monday from 3 to 5 o'clock.
Cool.
Lottery players are subject to commission laws and regulations. Play responsibly.
Check it.
Swimming in debt? Save your summer with a debt consolidation loan from BMI Federal Credit Union. With rates as low as 8.99% APR, now is the perfect time to consolidate your debt. Visit bmifcu.org/consolidate for more details.
This Father's Day, help Dad be all he can be with a gift from the Home Depot, because he's not just Dad, he's the handyman of the house, the plumber in a pinch, and the emergency mechanic. Upgrade his gear this Father's Day with the Husky Mechanics 270-piece tool set from the Home Depot. Now on special buy for $119, a $695 value. For every kind of dad, find the perfect gift this Father's Day at the Home Depot.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. NFL mandatory minicamps getting underway today, and sources out of Cincinnati are saying that the Bengals will be releasing linebacker Jermaine Pratt after 6 seasons with the team. The battle for the Ohio Cup, round number 2, getting underway tonight in Progressive Field. The Reds swept the first leg, so the Guardians will need to do the same to retain the Cup. Wade Miley makes his first start of the season for Cincinnati. Luis Ortiz does the same for Cleveland. Coverage on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:10. First pitch, 6:40. We'll join it in progress here on The Fan at 8. The NHL Stanley Cup Finals, Game 3 tonight at 8 down in Florida. The Panthers hosting the Edmonton Oilers. The series is knotted up at 1 game apiece. This one's sponsored by RCD RV Supercenter in Heath, Delaware, Pataskala, and always online, rcdrv.com.
These two have a ton in common. Anthony loves hockey, and Matty's always cold. This is Rothman and Ice.
Send a memo out to Dr. Stephen A. Smith, who basically accused Darius Garland of almost being soft and faking an injury during the playoffs.
Yeah, this just coming down from Shams over at ESPN. Cleveland Cavaliers star Darius Garland underwent surgery to repair his toe. And not completely repair it or replace his toe. But
replace his toe?
No, he's not replacing his toe. But yes, he is having surgery, already had surgery on that toe, and he will be sidelined approximately 4 to 5 months. So significant stuff right there for DG. It's going to be a fascinating offseason to see what the Cavs do with a guy like Darius Garland, with a guy like Jared Allen. It feels like Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, those are your two untouchables for me. But between Garland and Jared Allen, there's some smoke out there in those NBA trade streets that one of those guys could be on the move. We'll see what type of impact this would have on any type of Darius Garland trade.
That'll be very interesting. The French Open final was about as epic as you can get, with Carlos Alcaraz winning in 5 sets over Sinner. The only thing I would say is that, and it's cool that these two guys have become who they are, based on watching basically the end of Djokovic and Federer gone and Nadal gone now. But I started thinking about, they're making it sound like that nobody's ever done this before. Like, we've never had this good of tennis, this young, these stars. Like, and I'm just talking from the U.S. standpoint. Sampras was winning the U.S. Open at 19. Agassi was winning at 22. Connors was winning at 22. McEnroe was winning at 2021. Roddick was winning a U.S. Open at 21. Like, it's happened. Like, I feel like I think we're so starved for American tennis to return that anything else looks like it's brand new. Like, it's been so long, because the names I just threw out are so long gone that we forget that at one time it was there, and it was as glorious of a time for tennis as there ever was. But these guys were as good in their era. I heard McEnroe talking about, I wonder how Nadal would have handled one of these guys. He would have handled them just fine.
Went blow for blow with him, probably.
Just fine.
He said that both of them would have been favored over Nadal,
he
prime
won
versus prime.
14 of them.
On clay.
It's just, I think we're so, and this is not to discount how good they hit the tennis ball and how powerful they are. But
I think we do this in sports in general, right? It's the shiny new toy, and everybody just glazes the heck out of that thing.
And they're really good.
And they are. They're awesome. But to your point, history usually repeats itself, and there's usually a guy or guys that are the face of the sport. And right now, it's those guys. And the comparisons of eras can always get tricky and all of that. But those are the two household names in tennis right now. And they're doing a good job, I think, of holding it down for the sport.
Agassi and Connors were probably the best returners I've ever seen. McEnroe is probably the best volleyer I've ever seen. Roddick was as strong as anybody at the time, serving. Sampras had a serve and volley game that was as good as anybody that's ever played.
It's an era thing, too. Whether it's sports, whether it's music, when you grow up in that era, it's hard to bend the knee.
There is music
era now? There is music out there, but a lot of the OGs telling me, hey, that stuff y'all listening to, nephew, it ain't as good as what we used to have. And I even do it now to some of my friends, like their little cousins, their little brothers. Like, the stuff you're listening to is garbage compared to what we have. So there's always that nostalgia that weighs into that, and you want to dig in on your era to make that seem like what I watched was better and can never be topped than what you guys got going on right now.
And, in tennis, certainly equipment matters. But when you have two players as good as those guys, Sinner and Alcaraz, and you have that heavyweight bout, it does amplify what you're watching. Because when you're watching that epic of a match, and it's not just one guy dominating the other, because that way there's no real measurement there. Because when someone's dominating at that level and no one can stay with them, you realize it's that person against the field. A little bit right now with golf, with Scheffler versus the field. How great is he? Because he's dominating. So we're going to make the assumption that he might be on any given Sunday as good as Tiger. Is he as good as Jack? Mm-hmm. We make that leap because he's dominating the field. But when you have rivalries, it just helps amplify everything and lifts it all. I think that's what's happening with tennis, and it's great. But I miss that American contingent that kept coming up until, the early 2000s or whatever. And so, but I watched these guys my whole life, and these guys are as powerful as anybody that's played the sport. But when I hear a great champion like McEnroe say, I wonder how Nadal would have handled him. He won 14 of them. It's his best surface. He was as athletic than anybody that's ever played. In fact, I could make the argument that Rafa was the best athlete that's ever stepped on a tennis court. But here we are, and it's very cool, and it was an epic match.
It kind of goes to the conversation, like, would Babe Ruth be able to hit tanks the way that he does now in this era against, I don't know, Paul Skeens? To me, no.
Probably not, based on not having seen that. No one could throw that fast back then.
Correct. Like, if you drop Babe Ruth in the game today, it's completely different. But I think, guys like McEnroe, some of the OGs that talk about basketball on TV, they don't want to, I don't know, pay respect to the young guys for whatever reason in certain categories of the sport. I don't know why that has to be the case. I think you can show love to both eras at the same time and realize, like, a guy like Nadal, since we're talking about tennis, would be able to hang with these guys and probably clip those guys. And the same could be said about what they would do to Nadal, because they're all great.
That's right. So that was pretty cool.
I have a generational question on this topic about Dan Marino specifically, because back in like the 80s and 90s, Dan Marino's stats were so much better than everybody else, but a lot of offensive coordinators weren't running offenses that allowed their quarterbacks to throw the ball down the field on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm. So was he just in a system where he had the coaches that amplified that? Because it's not like a lot of quarterbacks couldn't throw the ball down the field. A lot of quarterbacks' arms back then had really good arm talent that could play in today's era, but there's the coaching and the mindset and running a lot of I formation, putting a fullback on the field. A lot of the offenses that were run were not putting the quarterback in a position to be able to put up the stats that guys put up today, but Marino did. Is that because he was that much more talented, or because the coaches allowed him to?
Okay, so two things, and I've asked guys about this. Hall of Famers I've talked to, people up in Canton I've talked to, and the fact that I got to watch him. Every quarterback needs a solid offensive line. That's number one. He had that. Yeah. I have never seen a quarterback whose mechanics were that good. His release was as quick as I've ever seen a release. And so I feel like he gets best ever not having won a Super Bowl, and that's okay. The other part of it, and you would only know this talking to the upper echelon people of the game about reading defenses. And I never thought, listen, Jim McMahon played on one of the best teams ever, the 85 Bears. He's not considered a all-time great quarterback. It was their defense and all the stars around it. But everybody I talked to in Chicago and watching was like, he could read, he could go up to the line of scrimmage and call a play and know where it had to go and know what he had to do. Some guys are better at it than others. But your Marino-specific question to me, ask people what they think of his release and his accuracy. It was as good as anybody that could throw a football. I think he was.
We now live in this era to where there's so much information. The analytics drive a lot of, the decision making when it comes to either roster management or styles of play, because whether it's in basketball to where now the game itself is not completely driven by everybody by the three-point shot, but just math tells you that's the smarter path to take to get the victory, is to throw up as many threes as you possibly can, because obviously 3 is better than 2. In the world of baseball, you've seen batting average completely slide south in a bad way, because now these hitters are being taught launch angles, a hot term you hear in baseball, right? To try to hit as many home runs as you possibly can.
I'm here for the exit velo, Matty.
That's a big thing.
I come for the exit velo.
Like, think about how many guys they are that were household hitters back in the day that were average hitters. And what I mean by that is like, hey, I want to bat 280 to 300 consistently and hit singles and doubles. Now, this era of baseball, these dudes don't care. It's about, hey, let me hit 30 to 35 home runs a year, bat about 220, because that's going to drive in runs. So I think in time, just all of this evolved just because there's so much information now that these front offices and players consume. And a lot of times it's the big picture stuff, whether it's hitting home runs, shooting three-pointers, or let's go via the pass more than the run game now in football, because it's quicker to get to the end zone that way than it probably is doing 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
All right, I just looked this up because this jumped into my mind, guys, for his Marino question. I like the baseball analogy for sure. So I talked about his quick release and how he was so difficult to get pressure on. And he had talent, too, around him. Dan Marino owns the record for consecutive games and consecutive passes without a sack.
Couldn't get to him.
No other quarterback, before or since, I think, is in the same ball yard.
So his theme song was MC Hammer Can't Touch This.
He got sacked. He got sacked in a game in 1988. He then played 19 straight games without getting sacked. And between the sacks, he threw 759 passes.
Without getting
sacked.
That's impressive. Wow.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to play behind that O-line.
Well, and a lot of it was his release.
And the O-line probably loved playing in front of him.
Yeah.
You don't have to block long.
Exactly. So what the hell was going on with that defense that he never won a Super Bowl?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Well, he get to it in his rookie year?
Yeah.
And then they thought, all right, yeah, it's team sport, boys.
Yeah.
Always has, always will be.
And it's played in the trenches.
It's real.
I am the biggest offensive line honk that you're going to find on the radio.
Oh, I learned my lesson a few years ago. Yep. AR will tell you. Mm-hmm. Learn my lesson.
What game?
I tried to tell you last year. You
Tampa and the Chiefs.
Oh, my goodness.
Tampa and the Chiefs. Chiefs went in there with a wounded offensive line.
And the Packers, the game before that in the NFC Championship, the exact same thing. 2 backup offensive tackles. So they, in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, they played 4 backup offensive tackles.
I was sitting there saying, it's Mahomes, it's Reed, they'll figure it out. No, the game's won in the trenches. Always has been, always will be. No matter how good your quarterback is or players that you have on the outside, if they don't have time to cook, there's nothing coming out of the kitchen.
Just controls every part of it, even on the defense, too.
Yeah.
And so last year, we're all ready to row, and I spent 3 days trying to not get talked into this again. And I went all the way up to Friday afternoon, right?
Well, what happened was our Brian Baldinger interview. I think that pushed it over the top.
But I wasn't coming off of Philly.
But when Baldy came on, it was like, guys, this Eagles offensive line is for real. Then it's like
defense.
And their defense. When we saw Josh Sweat, had 3 sacks in the game.
look at what Mahomes had to deal with pressure-wise, and that pressure led to those picks.
Yeah.
Like, he had to just force himself to do way too much. I was not going to get fooled again. We come back, and Maddie, will this player haunt the AFC? We'll tell you next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon, even if this promo is playing in the morning. No judgment.
Sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Man once shaved Timmy's leg live on the air. Tune in weekdays at 3 to see what else they'll shave. Wait, what else they'll shave? Who the hell wants to listen to that?
Common Man and Timmy, smooth as silk.
Okay, The Fan.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers and thunderstorms developing into the early afternoon, some which could be on the stronger side with gusty winds.
Afternoon highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 50s overnight with some patchy fog developing in some places across central Ohio. Otherwise, we clear out and see more sunshine in Tuesday's forecast with highs in the mid to upper 70s. For The Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony can follow direction very well, as long as he first prints out MapQuest. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Looks like Cam Hayward and Aaron Rodgers will get along just fine.
They kicking it already?
Got a golf outing today.
Okay. Listen,
he was the one who said, hey.
Steelers recruit itself, pretty much.
Yeah.
You want to be in, then come on. We're not going to beg you to come into the Steel City. Like, okay, I see you, Cam, as a vet. Like I can understand that perspective. I will say this though, AR. If you are a TJ Watt, a Cam Hayward, a Minkah Fitzpatrick, DK Metcalf, like the vets of the team, I think this makes you sleep a little bit better.
Of course it does.
At night. Like, I understand, like, on the record, they're saying, like, oh, we believe in Mason Rudolph. Then it's like, hey, off the record, do you really? And it's probably like, not really. Not really. But
so
they
think he's a competitor.
Yeah.
This is a lot of this, you're paying for the experience. He's got all that. I don't know if he has I don't even know if his tools are that much better than Mason Rudolph right now. I don't. I really don't. I'm betting on that his experience in big games, leading teams, and the fact that he's motivated to take one more to end it his way and to put on that helmet and that uniform, there'll be some pride there. Mm-hmm. This is not a ceremonial deal. I really don't think so. I could be way off on this, but I feel like it is important for Aaron Rodgers to play well for his own ego, for his own satisfaction. This isn't just, I want to make another $15 million.
Yeah, you don't want to be a part of the Michael Jordan Wizards meme club, right? Where you have the goats of the sports that go on and play a little too long. Like, what is it? Jerry Rice in the car. Who was in the car? The receiver that went over to the Cardinals for a while, the Raiders or somebody like that. Like, there's memes out there of the goats of sports to where the team that they're identified for being great with, like Bulls for Jordan, Niners for Rice.
Tony Parker on the Hornets.
Yeah, like those type of teams, like you want to avoid that meme if you're Aaron Rodgers. So to your point, I don't think this is a ceremonial thing in his mind. I think if that were the case.
Some people have accused it of being an ego thing to stay relevant.
I think his ego is always involved with everything he does. This is Aaron Rodgers that we're talking about. Yeah. But I happen to think, AR, based off of where he is in his mind, and looking at where Pittsburgh is, if he didn't think that he could go there and make a difference and have Pittsburgh be in the mix and be competitive, I think he would have just hung it up.
I think you probably had Rice with Seattle.
Or
was it Emmitt Smith?
With the Cardinals.
Okay, I was thinking, wasn't a receiver.
There we go.
It was Emmitt.
Eddie fumbling
around.
There you go. Right. Thank you. It was Emmitt Smith in the Cardinals uniform where it's just like, they don't even look right.
Mike's stats with the Wizards weren't that horrible.
No,
he just couldn't elevate.
It's just like when people put anything up of anybody being washed, you'll see Jordan pop up in the Wizards jersey.
No, you see Shaq on the Celtics.
Right. Like any of them.
Yeah. My dad would tell me that, Willie Mays stumbling around in the outfield with the Mets. Yeah. It's
tough.
It's tough.
It is.
Nobody wants to hang it up. Yeah. Like I said, that's why we're doing this. You don't have to be young to talk sports, just to play it. All right, so where was I headed with this?
For a guy that's trying to avoid the memes that we're talking about.
Yeah. So the other thing is we need to check with Dr. Stephen A. to see if he'll pass the physical. I'm not sure he has yet. Once we get confirmation that Stephen A. says that Nick Chubb has passed the physical, then it'll all be official. 1-year deal with the Texans. I think he's certainly somebody that I think Browns fans can root for. He's not really in a come back and haunt you kind of position right now. He could get in the end zone. He could have some moments of glory. There could be that. He's not going to be the horse he was, I don't think. But it's interesting because he's going to get paired with Mixon.
He is going to get paired with old Joe Mixon. So, D'Amico Ryans, I think Nick Casario's their GM over there. They're saying, hey, let's go shop at that AFC North store at the clearance aisle. You know what I mean? Get some guys, because you can get some good items in that clearance rack. No knocking the clearance rack over here, but that is the hope, is if you're the Texans, is that his season got clipped shortly last year because of the broken foot. is that this guy is obviously going to be motivated. He's not 30 years old, and you hope that you can tap into what he was prior to these injuries. I think that's an uphill climb because the knee injury that he sustained was to the same leg that he injured, I believe, when he was at Georgia. So he's gone through it with some lower extremity issues, to say the least. But I think because of Joe Mixon and with the way that Mixon looked last year, finishing 15th in the league in rushing yards, I think those guys will be able to provide enough punch to where the Houston Texans run game should be respectable. They're also in a situation to where they have a quarterback that I think strikes a decent amount of fear in defenses with his arm. Now, the whole CJ shoulder thing is a question mark for me. They're saying everything's going to be okay, and this is part of the process. We shall see with mandatory mini camps kicking off this week around the league and then training camps right around the corner. But I think this duo AR, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be headline stuff. I think both guys will have moments. I think 1 week you can look at Mixon and you'll see 16 for 80 in a touchdown, and I think the same thing could be said for Nick Chubb on occasion, right? I don't think that old guy is coming back out, but if you're Houston, you don't think you need that old Nick Chubb to stand up. If that is the case, then this is absolutely $100 bills found in the couch for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, this is going to be one that will be interesting because he's got kind of that Adrian Peterson vibe. Like, you don't want to doubt him, like coming off the injury. Like, we've seen this guy be Superman many times.
Yeah.
And I think for most Browns fans listening, he's the best, maybe the best player you've ever had in your lifetime. For certain people that are listening right now.
He and Miles, yeah.
I mean, yes. I mean, offensively. Offensively.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that will be interesting. The fact that he helped the Browns win that playoff game in COVID with nobody in the stands, no coach, right? In Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And the fact that Baker got that done.
And that game, if I'm remembering correctly, just started right out of the gate with the Browns putting it on the Steelers.
Like it was a high-scoring game.
Just right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Pouncey snapping the ball over Roethlisberger's head.
It reminded me of the start that we had with Seattle and Denver in the Super Bowl. I think that was the one, and that was in New York.
That was an onslaught.
To where it just right away for Peyton, or the other way, I believe.
That was the one Super Bowl I ever stopped watching.
Because it was just over right away.
That was a disaster.
You didn't stop watching last year?
No, I was enjoying it too much.
Yeah, that thing was torn to ribbons.
You talk about drinking the haterade. I was laughing that entire Super Bowl watching the Eagles pounce on the Chiefs.
I think a lot of people were if there's no revenge game, real quick, AR, for Chubb either. No Texans-Browns matchup this year.
I'll tell you one thing. This is incredible. You probably beat the Steelers without Chubb that day. That's weird for me to think about. I just brought up the box score. And you won that. I mean, the Browns, you're the Steeler fan.
Yeah.
The Browns won 48-37.
It was 28-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah. 48-37 in Pittsburgh. No fans. No Stefanski, right?
No.
Coach of the year.
Mm-mm.
Baker was 21-34, 263 and 3 touchdowns, no picks.
Stefanski.
Chubb was 18 for 76. Good game. Had that catch and run for 20 yards or whatever. I don't think he had a touchdown. And Kareem Hunt was okay. Landry was good. Chubb did catch passes. But I'm here to tell you, Browns win that game without Nick Chubb.
Who was catching the touchdown passes from Baker? Remind me.
Landry. Chubb did catch one and run.
Caught one.
But that was late. I think it was late.
Just the cast of characters.
Austin Hooper.
Yeah.
We shot ourselves in the foot.
Let me tell you, oh my goodness.
We
the
lost
numbers
that
in this game.
The Browns didn't win it.
Dude.
That's how I'm spinning
4 picks by Ben?
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Maddie, guess the box score for Juju Smith-Schuster.
Well, Big Ben obviously had a horrible game.
And Deontay.
I'm going to go Juju was 3 for 15.
Okay. You got a 3 right, and you got a 15 right. The problem is it was 13 for 157.
Oh, garbage time.
So it's garbage time.
It's all catch up.
Okay.
Deontay
which is great for fantasy.
Deontay was 11 for 117.
AR, that is the dream scenario. When your fantasy wide receivers are in that situation.
I don't think we would have been fantasy.
No, I'm just saying, like, when you're watching your receivers and their teams getting mollywopped in the first half.
You remember the Jaguars in the mid 2010s when it was Blake Bortles and Allen Robinson and they were losing every single game?
We always talk about strategizing, drafting with game script.
Oh, yeah. I like team players that are going to be on bad teams.
Let me ask you this. You take this receiving room right now, Juju, Deontay, James Washington, Eric Ebron, and Chase Claypool. That would have been yeah.
There was a lot of potential there that did not pan out.
Yeah, James Conner.
He's had a nice career.
Yeah.
Got to give some flowers to James Conner.
I think there were 3 second-round receivers in that room that you just named. Oh, we got to put James Washington in the mashup.
They had to pair him with his boy Mason.
We'll get Mike Teneer's take on the Steelers and whether they mean anything different now with Rodgers. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Get Eco. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem. Get Eco. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system. You invented a solution for that? I invented a way to fix those systems for free. Get Eco. That's a great invention. How does it work? Step 1 is to pay Eco to fix it. I thought you said you'd fix it for free. Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it. Get Eco. What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years? That would mean you got all those extra years for free. Paying Eco to fix your AC system is like putting money in the bank. Get Eco. Get Eco. Get Eco. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up, knuckleheads? You're listening to Rothman and Ice on The Fan. It's not terrible.
And now there's our friend Mike Teneer, NFL writer, editor, founder of the Two Deep Zone on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Michael, welcome back.
Hey, it's great to be back. I'm sorry, I just loaded up Pro Football Talk, and I just saw this headline. Mike Vrabel says that Stephon Diggs is engaged, and I like his energy. And I can't stop laughing on the inside.
What happened to the at the sister's wedding and the whole boat video controversy? This wipes all that away?
He didn't look that engaged to me. He looked like he was engaged in something, but and he definitely looked like he was about to generate some energy. Let's put it that way.
Hey, he's the life of the party, Mike. You want to be around a guy like that. Well, we'll see. Braves usually no nonsense, but they all want talent, and we'll see. But let me get your take on Aaron Rodgers. I've always been pretty even keel with this. I think he's certainly a higher floor than what they had. I think the price of what he's going to play for made this very tempting for the Steelers. And so one last time around the track here, what do you expect?
Yeah, it's funny how we landed here because it's like, well, the Steelers had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and they let them go, and then they sat out the draft more or less. They brought in Will Howard late, but he's not considered a 2025 starter by any means. And now we're looking at Aaron Rodgers like, well, yeah, this is their best alternative. Well, of course it is. It's June. They didn't get a quarterback. They went out of their way to lose quarterbacks. I don't see an upside for Rodgers at this point in his career that's any different from what we saw from Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year, particularly Wilson, where you had the veteran on his last legs on a redemption tour who could give you big plays now and then. That's pretty much what Aaron Rodgers is. So, Steelers fans who are listening, I know how you guys think you love those non-losing seasons, those gritty seasons. You can have another one of those. Think about how last season really went, though. Think about how that team looked in December and January. Is that a success story? That's the kind of season you're ramping up for in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers.
So, I've been looking around the offseason and saying, man, what's going on with Nick Chubb? Haven't heard much about this guy. The injuries have unfortunately been creeping up on him the last few years, but now here we are coming in on a Monday, Mike, and we've got news about Nick Chubb, and it looks like he is about to be a Houston Texan. Your thoughts on that fit and pairing him with Joe Mixon and C.J. Stroud?
It might wind up being the move that kind of helps everybody. Sure, look like the Browns after the years of injuries and things like that. We're looking for a youth movement at the position, bringing in Judkins and Dylan Sampson. They want to save money there. They don't necessarily want to kind of have the final season of Nick Chubb's career when they have so many other questions to answer. He moves down to Houston. Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be in a rotation. This point in his career, that could be helpful for him. He could elevate that team who really, when Joe Mixon was not on the field, they had no running game last year in Houston. So that can help there. I mean, the question for Chubb, I think, is that offensive line down there going to be anything? If that offensive line is half decent, he'll be able to have a nice bounce-back season. He could wind up on a playoff team right now. That's good for him. The Browns can go out there with these younger players, save some money, and go in a different direction as they kind of try to rebuild and figure out what they're doing at quarterback.
Mike Tanier with us. I brought up to the boys last week that I felt like that Kansas City, while they are still very good, in my mind, they don't feel like the team to beat even in the AFC. And this is weird because all they do is win. And all they did is win every single one-score game in 2025 like they did in 2024. And I'm wondering if you're finally with me maybe on that top to bottom, they aren't the best team, that the Bills are probably the best team in the AFC. It doesn't mean they'll win at all. Just give me your take on if you had to kind of power rank them. How would you do it? Would you do it with the mentality that Kansas City's provided us the last couple of years, or would you kind of clean slate it this year and pick a new king of the AFC in your mind going in?
If you're using analysis, if you're thinking about it analytically, you're going to come to the conclusion that the Buffalo Bills are the best team and the Ravens are right there with them. And then the Chiefs are in they're in like a half tier below them. If you're going with vibes, and we all go with vibes to some degree, it's like, it's the Chiefs. They're going to beat these guys in the playoffs. That's how it always goes. But, vibes are vibes. And it's a good time in June to take a real heat check and reality check. I have the Football Outsiders DVOA analysis in front of me. It says that the Bills are the team to beat in the AFC. I'm looking right now at the odds on my favorite sports book, and the Bills and Ravens are both plus 350, and the Chiefs are plus 370. I think that's the science. That's the observations. That's what we know. Coming at us and saying the Chiefs are like a notch below these guys. How we feel? How we feel is how we feel. But I'll worry about January come January. Right now, if I'm putting money on a team to come out of the AFC, it probably would be the Buffalo Bills.
So I want to hit you up about the Detroit Lions right now. One of the headliner teams around the sport the last couple of years, but there seems to be, maybe I've just been reading certain outlets, but some hesitation to go all in with Detroit immediately bouncing back or staying at the top of the NFC. When you look at what's happening around them, whether it's injuries or guys moving on to new coordinators and all of that stuff, Mike, how are you feeling about the Detroit Lions? Are you still viewing them as an upper echelon team in the NFC?
I think they're still an upper echelon team, but let me tell you, 2.5 weeks ago, again, looking at DVOA projections, things like that, it was that, 14 wins, here it comes. They're going to be in the NFC title game, no question, just pencil them in now. And then Frank Wagner retired, their center retired. And suddenly it kind of shifts everything because you have a team where you say the strength of this team is probably the best offensive line in football to I see a rookie center penciled in. in Kate Rutledge, probably their starting center. I see a guard named Christian Mahogany, who I have never heard of, likely to be the starter at one of the guard positions, and then there's a rookie backing him up. All of a sudden, it's like maybe this is only like a top 10 or top 12 offensive line. Then you start asking questions about Jared Goff and say, well, is this guy going to still be that level of quarterback if he's not getting that protection? Then you start asking questions about things like, well, they never got a supplementary guy for Aiden Hutchinson. It's going to be Aiden Hutchinson out there kind of by himself on the pass rush, and that's great. He's phenomenal, but, man, another guy would have looked great. So now, obviously, I still think they're a playoff team. I think they're in the top tier. But are they that much better than the Eagles? Are they that much better than the Commanders? Are they really that much better than the Packers right now, or the Rams, or even the 49ers coming back? That's hard to say because suddenly a big question has opened up for them.
Glad you mentioned the 49ers. They have the easiest projected schedule in the league. Do you feel they have worst to first talent still in their division?
Absolutely. I think when they lost Deebo Samuel and they were like arguing with Brandon Ayuk and we didn't know about Christian McCaffrey's status, it looked like it was over. They were going to rebuild. Yeah, they got rid of a lot of guys, but they stopped it. They turned around and they extended some guys, and they it looks like, guys like Kittle and McCaffrey, they're going to be back, they're going to be healthy. Then they drafted an entire defense. Except for the fact that they still have Nick Bosa and a couple of the other guys. So then you take a deep breath and you look at this team and say, most of the guys that left were either older guys or guys who were injured last year. They had historic injuries last year on both sides of the ball. They're getting a lot of those guys back. This is a team that can very quickly go back to being that team we remember from 2 years ago, and they could do it this year. And you're right, that schedule is a big part of it because the road is really going to rise up to meet the 49ers this year.
Mike, real quick, going over to the NFC East, assuming Philly will be the favorite to win that division based off of what they just did and what we've seen from them. But when it comes to the Commanders and the Cowboys, which one of those franchises do you deem closest to clipping Philadelphia with the way their two rosters look on paper?
Oh, it's the Commanders who went out there and not only got Deebo, but also got like some reinforcements on the offensive line when they brought in Laramie Tunsil. That was a big deal for them. When you look at the Cowboys, the big addition was they bring in George Pickens and you say, okay, you got George Pickens now with CD Lamb. You get back Dak Prescott. This is great. This was a team that had holes everywhere. This is a team that had holes in the offensive line, holes on the defense. They still have the top-tier talent, but they don't have all the infrastructure underneath of it. And they've got Brian Schottenheimer coming in as head coach, and he's not somebody who, really sets the world on fire in terms of, how enthusiastic you are about him. Commanders bringing their coaches back, bringing Jaden Daniels back in the second season. They're the team that has the pedigree, they've got the infrastructure, and they got better. They added Pro Bowl caliber veterans. So they're the team I think the Eagles and the Lions have to watch out for in the NFC.
Well done, my man. Always enjoy having you on, Mike. We'll talk soon.
You guys take care. Enjoy your week.
There he is, the founder of the Two Deep Zone. He is Mike Tanier on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. When we come back, Buckeye Bulletin time, and they're not going to play catch-up anymore when it comes to getting and retaining talent. We'll tell you about it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Stay hydrated. It's hot out there. So my teenage son just went out in sweatpants and a hoodie. It's 98 degrees. At least I know he'll be cool in our house, thanks to Atlas Butler. If something goes wrong, they'll fix it within 24 hours. They call it their comfort pledge. Get too hot?
I need my phone.
Oh, your phone. Should've known.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Boating
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Join the Fan weeknights at 6 for the Buckeye Show. And if you're asking if it's just a bunch of homers rooting for all things Ohio State, yes it is. Proud to be your flagship home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
All right, Buckeye Bulletin time. Ohio State was ready. And we're ready the first time around. Didn't feel they had to. I was doing shows that year. And I kept saying that Ohio State never had the mindset that they would ever lose a recruit to a checkbook. They just wouldn't, because they had way too much to offer. They had the coaching, the guidance, the training, the platform, the stadium, the rivalry, the success, the history, the tradition, the legends. They had them all. Mm-hmm. They had the unis. Like, they had it. So why in the world would they think that a kid would only come play here if you dropped a bag in his lap? And they were late to the party, and now they're here, and now they're hosting. Because when I saw this email today about this initiative that will prioritize, I mean, I love how they're still calling them student athletes, that they will prioritize, because this is counterintuitive, saying student athlete with the brand engagement and NIL financial opportunities. But they do exist, And you can do both. You can still want to go to class, want to learn, want to be educated, want to get a degree. I understand the degree here is usually graduating to Sundays. That's usually
for the football players, no doubt about it.
For a lot of guys.
Hey,
not all of them, for sure.
I'm curious, too, like, how much roaming around campus is a Jeremiah Smith doing at this point?
Well, who was the one?
Probably doing a lot of the online classes, I would think.
Who was that?
For Ohio State?
Was that Fields? Who was doing all the online when we learned that basically every
I think a lot of
that was Fields.
It was Fields.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys are probably doing that now.
I mean, honestly, I know from a convenience standpoint, nobody wants to get up and go to an early morning class. Who would want to do that?
Of course.
Nobody would. Especially when you're in this climate from November to April.
Think about what we were doing. We got a little dose of that doing radio shows from home. Think I wanted to come back in the studio after doing the shows in my
loved it.
After doing the shows in my draws? No way. Come on.
You still are.
Sometimes no draws. So Ohio State puts this out that Ohio State and Learfield are launching the Buckeye Sports Group.
There you go.
Which is going to be basically a comprehensive strategy group that will basically try to manage, facilitate, create services in that department for their athletes. And you have an agent. Ohio State's going to be your agent, negotiating, securing brand partnerships locally, regionally, nationally for their athletes.
Worldwide.
So what this is, when I first got into the media business and I was making television tapes, not only would I send them, Maddie, to TV stations that I thought had openings, like legitimate openings, weekend sports anchor, this, that, and the other, but I would also send tapes to talent agencies.
Smart man.
And they would put you on a reel. Yeah, but they put you on a reel with like 20 other people, and they'd send it to news directors around the country, hoping that maybe you were the one that they'd pluck out of there.
Yeah.
But that's what this reminds me of, that Ohio State is going to be out basically trying to find deals for their athletes.
There's a lot of moving pieces in this release. There's a statement in here from Ohio State Deputy Athletic Director Kerry Hoyt, and it says Ohio State has always been a leader in college athletics, and this initiative is another step forward to build upon our strong NIL foundation by combining the power of our athletic brand with Learfield's expansive network. We are creating an innovative, full-service approach to NIL that directly benefits our student athletes.
Okay, so this is a pretty long email, okay? You got it right there in front of you as well. Do you have it?
I have the part of the release. I don't have the full email, but I can find that for you.
You have the release. Go all the way down to Chapter 8, subsection B. Go down to Impact and Vision. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so if I was taking a highlighter to this whole report that I just received, I would highlight bullet point number 1.
Okay.
What does that say?
Number 1, my man says, maximize student-athlete earning potential.
There it is. That's the headline.
The other
they teach you not to bury the lead.
There you go.
That's way too far down in the email.
The other bullet points say strengthen Ohio State's brand value through strategic partnerships and create a sustainable, best-in-class NIL ecosystem that benefits athletes, brands, and the university.
But those were bullet points 2 and 3.
Yeah, but the big one is maximize student-athlete earning potential.
There it is. That's the one. That should be in all caps. All right, but they are ahead of it. And they know that this is it, to keep the lifeblood of this engine going.
You have to play this game.
And
if you're a Buckeye football fan, basketball fan, specifically football, because that's usually the elephant in the room.
They're not going to sit back, Maddie, and just believe that block O cures all.
It'd be foolish. It'd be foolish. It's kind of like I know it's not apples to apples here, but when we had conversations about Dabo, right? Not playing the game with the transfer portal and some of this stuff that we're talking about with NIL. It's like, why aren't you playing that game? Because if you want to get back to that level or stay at that level, if you're Ohio State, you got to dive into these waters. And so if you're a Buckeye fan, this is good news. This is encouraging that Ross Bjork and all the decision makers over there are headed down this path, and it seems to be a sustainable path for a program like Ohio State when it comes to the financials they'll be able to throw around.
It's good news for football, probably for basketball, maybe a little volleyball. How far this goes down, because I do think there's a lot of pride, and we'll talk about this with Wetzel, about Olympic sports. There's pride in that, feeding Team USA and having those Olympic sports.
Yeah, because I think to
Ohio
your
State's
point,
always had that.
Yeah, AR, because to your point, this is going to be a different experiment for different universities, right? Like when you get past what we know are the big-time revenue big-time money makers for programs, that being football and basketball, this is going to hit different down in the SEC with how important baseball is to that conference and all the star power that they have down there. Those baseball programs are looking around too and saying, that $20.5 million you guys got to work with, oh yeah, we want our big-time share of that as well, because of you watch an SEC baseball game. It's just different down there than it is up here in other parts of the country. So that's why all this is going to be fascinating to see how these programs allocate money and spread out the money to these different sports.
All right, that's today's Buckeye Bulletin.
If you need a new whip, ladies and gentlemen, if you need a new car, I'm going to direct you to where you need to be, and that is McDaniel GM Superstore up in Marion. I just got a new car from the wonderful folks at McDaniel GM Superstore a couple weeks ago. I got there, I got in, I got out in a couple hours with a brand new car, and I was riding home smiling from ear to ear. They've got over 150 new vehicles on their website. They believe in nothing but transparency with every car deal that they do. No market adjustments or hidden costs. They've got a 2025 Silverado LD right now. You can get up to $12,000 off MSRP. Listen, I'm telling you, McDaniel GM Superstore is where you need to go up in Marion if you need a new car or if you just want to go up there to feel the love. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
All right, we'll come back. Sports Center update here at top of the hour, and we'll get into the divisional rivalry where each player carries the burden of the most pressure. That's next. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Bo Bishop is a media legend. We have no idea where the other guys came from. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
So we bought an actual shopping mall and put one of the largest Honda dealerships in the world inside of it. Hi, it's Steve Lindsay with Lindsay Honda. So it's big. We house about 150 to 200 cars indoors, lit, all unlocked, ready for you to be able to view and see. A fully tempered climate. Doesn't matter if it's raining outside, 10 below zero, super hot. There's real trees inside, and it's just a casual environment. And if you haven't seen it, it's really a cool story, not about its opulence. It's just a cool story to see what was a dilapidated old mall being reinvigorated into a pillar in the community that everybody benefits from.
This month at Lindsay Honda, choose a 2025 Honda Ridgeline RTL, Honda HR-V or CR-V, and pay just $299 a month at our famous Lindsay Honda Trade-A-Thon. We'll trade for anything and give you $1,000 more for your vehicle all month long. Visit lindsayhonda.com for details.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Celebrate Father's Day and update your lawn with a little help from Ohio Mulch. Whether it's fresh mulch, rich soil, or expert lawn care products, a beautiful landscape, well, it begins with Ohio Mulch. Right now, get 5 bags of mulch or soil for just $10.95. Make your weekend project easier in the yard. Well, it'll be the envy of the block. Visit OhioMulch.com or stop by your local store. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there from your friends at Ohio Mulch.
Ohio Mulch. Landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code JOEQ, that's JOEQ, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York. Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Summer is officially here, and that means rising temperatures. You're going to be thinking about how you can keep cool all summer long. What's the best plan here? Well, one of the ways you can beat the heat and keep the air conditioning you're paying for in your home is to get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. And now's a great time to do it. They've got a semi-annual sale where you buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows for free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a whole house full of windows. No money down, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. It's a deal that can't be beat. You're getting a great deal from Window Nation because they are high-efficiency windows that are also very affordable. They do that by working directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. But don't wait on that semi-annual sale. You buy 4 windows, you get 4 windows free. Free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. You've got to schedule your estimate today. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Ohio State and Learfield have announced the formation of Buckeye Sports Group. This will unify the university's NIL efforts for student athletes under the management of the athletic department. This comes on the heels of the NCAA's House settlement. Cleveland Cavaliers All-Star guard Darius Garland had surgery today. It's to repair the left big toe injury that troubled him during the playoffs. He's expected to miss 4 to 5 months. The battle for the Ohio Cup round number 2 gets underway tonight up at Progressive Field. Wade Miley will make his first start of the season for Cincinnati. Luis Ortiz gets the ball for Cleveland. Coverage over on ESPN Columbus gets underway at 6:10. First pitch is at 6:40. This one brought to you by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, final hour of the program, Rothman and Ice. Dan Wetzel, ESPN senior writer, 2:30. We'll give you the summary of the change and the business of college sports, how it will all be divided, and the schools will control which player gets this and how much, and whether it's going to get messy or cleaner, nobody has a clue. Matty will be on his way up to the Guards Reds for the Battle of Ohio Super Fight 2. He will endure the rain and go up there and hope that because there's a guy pitching tonight that he owes, he might even make a sign and say, I'm sorry. Is it Miley?
Is it Wade Miley night?
I thought so.
Okay, listen.
But it's on the road.
He's going back to the spot to where he took off from the free throw line. It just completely bodied me. after I hopped on the air and just bodied him, a couple years ago. So, yeah, getting after the Guardians would be fun. But, there's not a lot of fun going on with my Reds. We're the definition of mid right now, AR, at 33-33. Fourth in the NL Central.
The great Jersey 33. All right, so, Matty, you'll be on your way here soon enough with your homemade sign.
Maybe,
I was wrong.
Your boys at Sugar Hill get me in the suite.
Yeah.
I'll go up there.
Okay. We can maybe work that out. We will discuss the NIL situation and all that with Dan Wetzel at 2:30. We also wanted to bring up the fact that the pressure that's on, I know which side of this argument I'm on, and it just seems...
I know what side you're on, too. Because
you set it up.
All right, so how we got to this point, TLC, our producer, he said, hey, listen, I got some good audio from ESPN this morning.
I think he said I got some hot sound.
He got some hot sound.
Sound is hot over here.
From Peter Schrager and Dan Orlovsky. And apparently, AR, they were going verbal blow for blow when it comes to who has the most pressure on him this year between your guy, J.J. McCarthy, and Caleb Williams in the NFC North. And so before you give your take, because I think I know where you're leaning. Yeah. You're my boy. I know you well when it comes to your team specifically.
No, I'm being objective.
Okay.
I told you I was that way with the resetting of the playoff seedings. I do think a 15-2 team somewhere in this world deserves a home playoff game. It's not the way it was.
I'm not pushing back on that.
I never made one excuse after they got drilled by the Rams.
They got a neutral site game.
Right. I had zero to complain about.
So, TLC, I think you have this broken down into two parts, correct?
I do.
All right, you lead off with whoever, Orlovsky or Schrager, whatever you think makes sense on the air.
Batting leadoff from whichever city he's from, his name is Peter Schrager.
I think there's more pressure for J.J. McCarthy, the second-year quarterback in Minnesota. More pressure on him for success right away than there is on Caleb Williams, the former first overall pick in Chicago. We're focusing so much on Caleb this offseason, and we're just assuming that everything is fine in Minnesota. And because O'Connell and Kwesi decided to put their faith in J.J. McCarthy, that we know that this team is going to be just as good as they were a year ago. Chicago has such an uphill climb. Minnesota, we expect them to be in the commercial.
Why does Chicago have an uphill climb?
Look at the last 2 decades. What are we talking about?
Okay, so they were last in the division last year, and Minnesota played for the 1 seed the final weekend.
Minnesota has everything you can want there already. It's just plug and play.
Oh. Okay, first of all,
plug and play.
He's a rookie who hasn't played yet. He has that pressure. He does have that pressure, and he wasn't a 5th rounder. Right? I mean, he was a legit pick.
He's a first-round pick,
by the Vikes.
No doubt.
But there is no way you can say he's got more pressure than Caleb Williams and what they've done, for him and what they've drafted and traded for and where they are.
Well, let's hear Dan Orlovsky's retort to Peter Schrager.
Let's hear the retort.
I'll tell you one thing, though. It's really hard as a quarterback to do all that and not have the people than to do it with the people. They got the people. I mean, I'll go back to when Sean McVay went to L.A., it was like, oh, Jared Goff doesn't stink. When Mike McDaniel went to Tua, it was like, oh, man, Tua can play. And so now there is not going to be any grace of, like, middle of October, Caleb Williams is struggling, and all. You have one of the hottest offensive minds in football. You're going to have a top 10 offensive line. You've got first-round pick, second-round pick, first-round pick at perimeter player. This is a not an easy place, but, like, this is a place where a quarterback who is as talented as Caleb
Sam Darnold won 14 games last year, and they're like, we're good. We're good. We got another guy.
But here's the thing. It's the easiest place to go play quarterback.
Wow, so he kind of agreed because Schrager said plug and play.
And what side either one?
And Dan Orlovsky says
it's the easiest place to play quarterback in the National Football League.
So he's saying that there isn't a lot of pressure because it's ready-made.
Yes.
Whereas Schrager is kind of somewhat agreeing with him that it is so ready-made that he should have pressure to then again win 14 or 15 like they did with Sam Darnold. So in a weird way, they kind of agree.
I think it's
just the interpretation.
It's 2 different things.
Right.
Orlovsky, I think, is doing more of the X and O's, the dudes that are around him. Schrager, I think, it's rooted a little bit in, or a lot of it in, well, the bar is here based off of what Sam Darnold did last year. Because of that bar being where it was set, that's why J.J. McCarthy has more pressure than Caleb. I actually think it is Caleb Williams that has more pressure than J.J. McCarthy because of the on-field experience he got last year. And for me personally, it's also the hype coming out of college and what he was supposed to be. Like, he was supposed to be this slam dunk, no doubt, air quotes, generational next guy up at the quarterback position. I think that's faded away a little bit thanks to Jaden Daniels and the pressure that he took off of Caleb, I think, right now because of how good Jaden was. But with where Caleb was last year, the hype, what they did for him roster-wise a year ago, what they've turned the page to do this offseason with the offensive lineman they brought in to help him out with, Luther Burden, another talented wide receiver they took in the draft. But the on-field experience he already got, to me, swings the pressure over to Caleb Williams.
We know nothing.
Jon Snow.
Yes. We know nothing about J.J. McCarthy other than he's a talent. I have no idea whether this is going to translate to the NFL level. He's a little sluggish. He can move. He's not as athletic as Caleb.
What J.J. McCarthy is,
accurate arm.
To use a basketball comp AR.
Yeah.
He's a wild card, Warren said.
You're asking at the time what was a mid-range shooter, right, in basketball, to hop in an offense and shoot a bunch of threes now. Because that's what J.J. McCarthy is. As you come from Michigan, you're protected to a certain degree by a great run game, great offensive line. That makes the picture clear, the play action stuff, and all of those things. What we don't know is, can he hop on this moving train and throw to the best wide receiver in Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Hawkinson and that cast of characters and do that consistently? The way you would ask a basketball player to, okay, now you're in a system to where we want to spread the defense out a lot and shoot more threes than what you're used to. Not that he can't do it. We just don't know with J.J. McCarthy.
We're already looking at Caleb Williams as being a potential bust. How much more pressure could it be than that?
Are we there with Caleb Williams?
I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying that if he doesn't start to click with Ben, then all of a sudden he's going to get that narrative of that he is not even close to being what they thought he was. JJ, you can't judge him that way. The way they're judging JJ right now is because he was KOC's hand-picked quarterback. They didn't tag Darnold after a 15-win season when he fizzled at the end. They got Darisaw back from injury, who KOC single-handedly injured himself by running that damn play that was so unnecessary before halftime.
Why do you sound so bitter? They just told you it's easy. Being the quarterback of the Vikings is easy. And J.J. McCarthy, 15-2 next year.
This is a good team.
It's easy.
It's a good team. I will admit that. If you
be inspired.
If I removed the quarterback from the roster, from the equation, I think the Vikings have a top 15 roster. I do. They really do. But now they have a rookie quarterback coming off of the injury, where his confidence will be. You're right. He has weapons. But I just can't get behind, from just a pressure standpoint, the Bears are looked at as a team that might be able to go worst to first in a very good division. New head coach, better coach, upgrades on the O-line. Caleb should have more time to find his weapons. Think about what their season was. What do they win? 5 games? 6 games?
Sounds right.
All right. If we take out...
They started 4-2.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Stevens, they did some jumping jacks in the back of the end zone.
The Hail Mary really got him.
I love that you brought that up.
Now, if we were having this argument, who's the better team, not who has the most pressure.
It's the Vikings on paper.
Then it's the Vikings.
And head coach.
A little bit.
Yeah, and defensive coordinator, because Brian Flores is a dude.
So it's a completely different conversation. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to take what probably is the better team with the unproven quarterback, with the lesser team, but a lot of improvements, and a guy who now has experience, who was drafted higher. You cannot get me to agree with Schrager, or I don't know who I'm agreeing with anymore, on that the expectations on JJ are a little unfair, that he has to keep a 15-win team at that level in his first year.
He was the 5th quarterback taken in that draft.
But he was a first-round pick, though. He was a first-round pick in that draft.
But
Here's
that's
what
they're comparing the Vikes to, is 15 wins. Like, That's what they were basically saying is he has to just plug and play, and it's 15 wins, and here we go.
It's easy.
I think the plug and play part of it, too, is respect to KOC, your head coach, and what he's been able to do with other quarterbacks coming in there and that offense still having a flow to it. So I bet you if Dan Orlovsky could expand on what he was saying, I think he would get to Kevin O'Connell and say, because of who your head coach and play caller is, any quarterback with a, surface level area of talent should go in there and be able to succeed. We won't have to wait long to get our answer to this because week 1 on Monday Night Football is the Chicago Bears against the Minnesota Vikings. So we won't be waiting long
the football
to see what these guys look like.
Although I don't think, and I liked your analogy, but I don't know if that's completely accurate and that he has to be all world for them to still be a winning football
No, I guess what I was saying with JJ is the question you remember coming out is the amount of pass attempts for him at Michigan were relatively low. And when you have Justin Jefferson and that cast of characters, your volume's got to go up just because your playmakers are that good. So that's what we don't know about JJ is can he do that?
That was a fun segment.
All right. And you know what's weird? The guy we left out who may actually have the most pressure in the division is probably at Lambeau.
Or Dr. Love?
Yeah, he might feel a little in that conversation. Yeah. All right, we'll come back. And a bet that will be paid off, apparently, if he achieves this incentive. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We're the highest-rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, Tinsley, why don't we use EasyCater to order food for staff lunches?
Because my 46-page acronym system is so easy. I just have to salad, stay alert to late arriving deliveries, pie, put in expenses, and Google Pie. Go out and get everyone's preferences and allergy information.
That's supposed to be simple?
No, simple is Steve and Irma and Margie prefer lasagna and empanadas.
OMG.
No need to make work life more complicated. Just use EasyCater, the easy way to get food for work.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
This week's Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame moment looks at the first ever baseball amateur draft. On June 8th, 1965, the Reds chose Bernie Carbo as their first draft pick. But it was the catcher chosen in the second round that would change the fortunes of the franchise.
Johnny Bench with his second home run of the night.
And Bench hits it to deep left. That might be. It's to the wall and over. Home run by Bench.
Who hits almost every home run to left field, hits one to right. The game is tied.
Swung on, long drive, left field, and it's a home run, and Johnny Bench has set the new all-time record. Home run number 314. As a catcher, to break the record he jointly held with Yogi Berra.
Swung on and hit well to left field. Get out of here, baseball! It's gone! Oh, my God, you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. Amazing. I'll tell you what, you can't write anything like that.
Johnny Bench, a member of the Reds Hall of Fame and the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, wore a Reds uniform for all of his 17 seasons. His 389 home runs are still the club record. The Hall of Fame moment is brought to you by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put their financial strength behind you. Visit westernsouthern.com.
Morning Juice is now live on YouTube. Join Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Thidoff weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
Just search 971 The Fan to catch the live experience or watch on demand.
The Fan.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle.
It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health, in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We will see showers and thunderstorms developing into the early afternoon, some which could be on the stronger side with gusty winds. Afternoon highs in the mid to low 70s. Tonight down into the 50s overnight with some patchy fog developing in some places across central Ohio. Otherwise, we clear out and see more sunshine in Tuesday's forecast with highs in the mid to upper 70s. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, Bet365 time.
It's that time. And folks, at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Ohio Cup on the line, up in the land tonight. Look, Guardian fans, I love you. But my Red Legs are in town, and that means one man is
Miley,
in town.
no-hitter? No. Again?
I'm not messing around with Wade Miley. But Ellie De La Cruz is roaming the streets of Cleveland. Give me an anytime dinger for Ellie up in the land, baby. Plus 450 on that tonight.
Our fantasy teams will be loving that.
Darn right it would. Yeah, give me an Ellie anytime homer AR plus 450 tonight.
All right, I'll spin the ball here on the first goal tonight for Game 3. Panthers got a little momentum coming back home. Give me a Carter Verhaeghe first goal. 14-1.
Okay. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. They've got a great new sign-up offer for you over at Bet365 where all you have to do is bet $5. You will get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Didn't know if we wanted to get out in front of, Scotty and his odds at it. What are they at, Oakmont this week? Where are they at?
They are at Chokemont. I
didn't know if you
I can't wait. I have actually been fortunate enough to go there a couple times, and it is the rough you experienced at Muirfield. Imagine that. Now double it.
Come on.
I'm serious,
really?
Man.
Okay.
It's you got to step on it. I don't know how you're going to find it.
Real quick, just because we brought it up, Scotty's plus 260 to get it done. Bryson DeChambeau right behind him at plus 700.
Maddie, we have now arrived at Scotty versus the field.
Yeah.
We have now arrived there. And I got to tell you, I'd probably still take the field just.
You got more options. I hear you.
I didn't do it at. Where did I do it at? Oh, in the major. I took Rory and Scheffler. You took the field. Scheffler won. We got a couple days to figure that out. He's got 16 wins in a 4-season span. That's one back of Woods in a 4-seasoner.
He's one of those guys now. Elite, rare air.
All right, so Derrick Henry, King Henry, was on Dan Patrick, and he just kind of unsolicited talked about Adam Sandler and his...
Like, hey, Dan, if you ever connect with him, let him know.
I know you've been in stuff with him before.
Like, hey, can you connect us? Just tell him let him know I'm a big fan, and this thing is really...
Long-time dream.
Yeah. This is...
want to be in a movie.
A professional athlete idolizing an actor. That's what this is, and this seems to be working in the favor of Derrick Henry right now because this is turning into a cool story.
The stipulation is that Derrick Henry has to rush for 2,000 yards this season. So Sandler got wind of his fanboy of Derrick Henry, and the Pro Bowl running back of Maddie's Baltimore Ravens now has a chance at making this happen.
Yo, Derek, I just woke up. You know that. That's why I look disgusting, on top of the fact that I am disgusting. But I love you. Congrats on everything, baby. 2,000 yards plus this year gets you not only in the movie, but we have a nice dinner together and talk about Dan Patrick's facial hair and how hard it is for him to grow it. I love you. Keep it up. I'm in a hotel right now. I'm sure you've been in a few. Okay. Love you, buddy. Take care. Again, sorry for the disgusting face. Woohoo! That's my dog, man. You gotta send me that, man.
I'll send that to you.
I appreciate that, man. Hell yeah, that's cool.
I got that done.
And then Derrick Henry sent me a direct message to thank me for hooking him up with Adam Sandler. So Sandler had his bulldog with him. Here's the direct message that, Dan, thank you. Sending the message in the video. That was really cool. Much love, Derrick Henry.
Now give me some candy.
Derrick Henry, you talk about glowing with anything that has to do with Adam Sandler. You could just hear that's my dog, man. Like, I need that video. He's probably watched that video 10 times.
All right.
Since he got it from Adam Sandler.
Here is the question. So he's only one of 9 guys to go 2,000 plus, right? Which he did in 2020.
That sounds correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So, to my mind, and maybe TLC can confirm this, nobody's ever done it twice. Of the 9, they're in the 2. Because we had CJ2K on at the Super Bowl in Vegas.
No,
right?
New Orleans. That was this year.
New Orleans?
Yeah, they all blend together. It was this year, though. Yeah.
It was this year. By the way, that was great. And he named all of them. Mm-hmm. I quizzed him on it.
He did, and he got it
all right.
He
got them all right.
Yeah, he did.
But no one's done it twice.
No.
I'm not seeing any repeats.
Right. No, of course not.
Actually, you know what? Derrick Henry would probably be the closest guy to do it twice.
Closest.
Because his second highest is 1921.
Okay.
Which was last year.
Okay.
Correct? TLC? What do you have last year? He was right there.
Oh, yeah, Baltimore, 2024.
Okay, there you go.
So here's the question that's on the table. Does this impact the fact he's going to be as motivated as he's ever been? Really Forget about his contract in the $30 million. Mm-hmm. Is this going to be enough for you to say, I'm picking first in the draft or second? Would you take him?
No. Not enough passes caught.
This isn't enough.
Not enough passes caught. I love it for my real world football team and what that's going to do. But AR.
What if you were picking 5th?
Okay, you got to give me the who is around me at that time.
You mean as far as
like players that I
running backs
or receivers at 5?
CD, Puka.
If we're doing half PPR AR, I'm going with a receiver.
Would you take Derrick Henry over Jahmyr Gibbs?
That's a great question. I'm looking at both those guys and I'm on the clock.
And you got this in the back of your mind.
Adam Sandler.
2,000. And he's your guy.
He is that's my dog. That's my dog. I'm going to go.
You might be his assistant in the movie.
I'd probably go Gibbs because I'm getting passes.
Yeah.
AR, here's what you always say. Vegas always knows something.
Okay.
They always know something.
All right.
So I pulled up the tab over at Bet365 that says player rushing yards for the regular season. Derrick Henry does have the second highest, over-under on paper right now for rushing yards. At Vegas or at Bet365, it is 1,375 yards and a half is where they have kind of the floor for Derrick Henry. The juice on the over is -105. The juice on the under is -115. And so I don't think he's going to get to that number because you scroll down to get to the highest over-under number for any running back or any rusher in the league, and it's Saquon Barkley at 1,525 yards and a half. But a couple slots above him is Lamar Jackson at 775.5 yards. Lamar's going to eat too much off of his plate when it comes to the rushing output.
How many passes will he catch?
Derek, I think, top of my head, last year he was probably in the 20s.
20, 25?
That's just
half of what Gibbs will probably catch.
That's why I would lean Gibbs. Yeah.
Touchdowns around the same, I bet.
That's where I would lean Gibbs. Derek last year gave you 16 real quick here before we go to break. Receptions-wise, Derek only had 19 the entire season in Baltimore.
All right, 2 minutes. We come back with our friend Dan Wetzel, ESPN senior writer in the business of college sports. How will it all be divided? We'll ask him next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. Good change is more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. Summer is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. You want to beat the heat and keep the AC in your home? Get Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During their semi-annual sale, you can buy 4 windows and get 4 windows free. Plus a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, and no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. So how exactly do they keep their prices affordable? It's a great question. Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all their windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, their windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends soon. So buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that number, 866-90-NATION, or go to their website, windownation.com.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Maddie ranked the most dynamic duo of all time, Caesar Salad and Moscow Mule. This is Rothman and Ice.
All right, business is booming, and the college athletes have seen it for years. And they want their piece and a big piece. And now all of a sudden, the schools will be able to dole it out themselves. And there won't be any of this technically middleman stuff that, listen, the schools have been paying these guys anyway. I have to imagine, Maddie, if Ryan Day wants a certain recruit in California, he goes to a collective and says, okay, this is what I'm allotting for this guy. Go get him. Or at least this is what the coaching staff wants. Dan Wetzel is the ESPN senior writer. He's been all over this. We're thrilled to pick his brain and have a few minutes of his time. Dan is with us on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fangus Hotline. Welcome to Columbus, Dan. How you been?
Oh, I've been great. How are you guys doing?
Pretty well. This isn't, I think for people listening, what they really probably want to know is what changed the most outside of obviously the schools now can divide the money. But I wanted to ask you about this $20.5 million. Is that a cap they can't go over? Is that an annual thing? How do you view this $20 million for everybody?
Okay, so this is direct payment from the school to athletes. There are still NIL opportunities. It's just there will be a clearinghouse to decide whether it is, say, just Caitlin Clark and State Farm, doing commercials. It's a legitimate commercial and all that, or is it a workaround where a collective is giving $1 million to someone to do 2 Instagram posts and 1 autograph signing? It's just a payout, right? Mm-hmm. Get a recruit. So, but in terms of the $20.5 million, each athletic department can go up to that number, and Ohio State most certainly will max that out. They'll be one of the schools to max it out. But that is the cap for this year. It'll grow up each year over the next, I think, 8 to 10 years. 10 years, it'll probably hit $33 million or something like that in 10 years. But it'll go up. But this is what Ohio State can use their media rights, their donations, their merch sales, their whatever, and it's just straight out of the athletic department coffers. And they can do it any which way they want. The expectation is the vast majority of this is going to go into, maybe 19 million of it's going to go to football and men's basketball, because those are the sports that, if you invest in, will turn you a profit, which allows you to continue to be, basically, I think Ohio State's about $250 million operational budget. Make that kind of money so you can sponsor as many of your other sports as you possibly can. So that's the cap.
Dan, I want to ask you about, in your opinion, maybe some people that you've talked to, what they think this move will do to the competitive balance of the sport, specifically football, and your feel on that now with these financials numbers out there.
So it's going to be interesting. There's a couple different levels to it. Okay, so one would be, the way we had it, unregulated NIL, the so-called wild west that people were complaining about, or some people were complaining about, it really opened up opportunity. It leveled some of it spread out the talent and leveled the playing field to a degree. Not where Akron and Ohio State are even, because that's never been the case, but certainly more schools had a chance to compete for national championships in the past few years in football than we had before. 6-7 years ago, you go in the season, it was Alabama and Georgia, and maybe it was Ohio State, maybe it was Clemson, but that was about it. Now, it is maybe 20, 25 teams have legitimate resources to win a national title. We've seen Michigan win it. They were never really a top tier contender. Obviously, Ohio State won it last year. Notre Dame, TCU have made the final game, the championship game. Penn State could be preseason number one. A lot more big schools, but not Georgia, Alabama level, have been able to compete. Oregon had the best regular season last year, things like that. So it has spread that out, and there's some concern with that. Just will we regress to where we only had a few teams? As much as people talk about, this is unfair for competitive balance, that's not how it played out. Now, part of this is what's interesting to me is, say, an Ohio State, a Michigan could come up with, I think the story is Ohio State's was $20 million last year on its football roster. Well, its boosters, its collective could come up with $20 million, but say a Minnesota or couldn't, right? Even in the Big Ten. Well, now Minnesota doesn't have to rely on its boosters. They can spend $20 million directly. So does that maybe close that gap between, kind of lift up that second tier Big Ten school, ACC school, and that's kind of one angle to it. But then at the same time, does it limit the ability of more schools to be able to compete and overcome maybe proximity to talent or historical success that you saw previously? So I think it's going to work I don't think there's one single answer to this, but it's going to be a little bit different. But what we really got to question is, just because you say School X can only spend $20 million, well, we used to say School X couldn't spend any dollars. And for 100 years, we've had boosters paying players to break that rule, right? Just because we have a new rule doesn't mean that the inherent culture of college athletics is to break the rule, find a work around the rule. Why would we expect anyone to follow this rule now?
Dan, do you believe that, first of all, two things. One, you said they're going to be maybe policing the NIL deals more strictly than they ever have before? That sounds like that could be a positive coming out of it.
They are going to do that. Well, it could be a positive, but it also is going to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether that's a positive or not. I don't really. I never bothered me that people were just getting paid to play. I'm kind of like, an unregulated market was at least an honest market. You at least kind of knew what was going on, and more teams were able to just jump in, especially when there's so much under the table before. But they are going to try to regulate this. Now, I expect this will be massive lawsuits on this. How exactly do you determine what someone's value is? Inherently, in our system, at least in this country, your value of anything is whatever someone will pay for it. your salary, your house, a luxury car, a piece of art. One person can look and say, I wouldn't pay $5 for that painting, and someone else pays $1 million. I don't know, right? Some schools would sit there and say, I'm not paying $1 million for a softball pitcher. Texas Tech says, we want to win in softball. Let's give $1 million to a softball pitcher, right? Who's right? Who's wrong? They're going to have an algorithm, and they're going to try to figure out what someone's worth is. Take Caitlin Clark, right? What's the algorithm that says an All-American basketball player at Iowa, what is she worth as an endorser? Well, I don't know what it is, but it's like 50x minus whatever Caitlin Clark was actually worth, because she's Caitlin Clark. Like, she's uniquely popular. She's uniquely marketable. So to me, whatever you come up with on this is going to be subject to lawsuit, where someone's going to say, no, I'm worth way more than that. And you're asking private companies, private boosters to say, oh, you're right, I'm wrong, I can't determine the worth of this person. So it's going to be very complicated. I think that there's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be challenges against the Antitrust Act. There's going to be a lot coming forward. This is kind of a first step to what they're trying to do. I don't know if it's sustainable.
I want to zoom out from this specific topic and get your thoughts, Dan, on Michigan and what you're hearing about what could be next for that football program. I know we had some news come out when it comes to Sharon Moore and him being suspended for a couple of games there. But now with this stuff still going on and swirling around the Michigan football program, what are you hearing about what could be coming their way now?
Yeah, so they had their hearing Friday and Saturday, their Committee on Infractions hearing in Indianapolis. 45 days after that, within 45 days, the Committee on Infractions is supposed to put down sanctions, although, delays are always possible and extensions, we don't know. But the expectations, when you talk to everyone, and this is just expectations because this could go any which way, but the expectations is Sharon Moore, Michigan self-imposed a 2-game suspension. Maybe that's accepted. Maybe they ask for 4 games. Jim Harbaugh would get a show cause for pretty long. He's not coming back to college anyway.
You mean another one?
Another, yeah. The Harbaugh days are over.
Another show cause.
Another show cause. I mean, the man was suspended like 3 different times his final year. So Harbaugh's done. Connor Stallions is going to be put on the shelf for some period of time, whether it's 5 years, it's 10 years, I don't know. But he's going to get a show cause. And other than that, there'll be a massive fine against Michigan, which, they'll write that check pretty quick. It's not a big deal at places like this. But that's about it. I think that if you're hoping for the title to be stripped, or if you're hoping for a postseason ban going forward, you're going to be pretty disappointed. I think in the end of the day, it's going to be some punishment, but not a ton. And no one's going to be satisfied. And the real punishment is probably, if you're a Michigan fan, you have to listen to Ohio State fans say you cheated forever. And if you're an Ohio State fan, you're not really going to – that's not really all you're going to get, which isn't really maybe what you were looking for. So at the end of the day, probably everyone's going to be angry.
There you go. My man, I know you're busy. Thanks for jumping on with us. We really appreciate your insight.
Thank you, man. Take care.
Thanks. Dan Wetzel, ESPN senior writer on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, heavy fines, they can handle that. Recruiting violations, they'll work around it. The postseason ban, I think, is also, in a weird way, that is a death penalty in a way. Because once you level a postseason ban, in this era, Maddie, where the players can say bye-bye, you could decimate the roster with a postseason ban, because none of those kids are going to want to stick unless they're getting paid a lot of money to stick and stay for just a regular season.
I hear you.
But if there's no hope, a fresh recruit coming in, if I'm a freshman or whatever, and I think I can play, but I can't play in a playoff if I'm good enough.
I'm going to a program where I can get that opportunity. Yeah. Dan says he doesn't think that's coming their way. But
if they get it, they'll sue.
And they will. They will. But that's how you make it sting if you're the NCAA, is do exactly what you just laid out.
All right, we'll come back. Tell the truth next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, Sorry for that. The Fan. Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Beds are us. When dreams don't get in, beds are us.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY, and when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Matty Ice here from McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Are you looking for an affordable family car? Then the Chevy Traverse is for you. This month at McDaniel GM Superstore, you can get up to $3,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Traverse. Plus, qualified buyers can finance at 6.8% for 72 months. They are just a short drive north of Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
What John Smiley, Chairman and CEO, wants you to know about First Bank of Central Ohio.
Our competitive advantage is the number of years we've been in Central Ohio and the fact that we're able to make decisions here locally that make sense for the client. At the end of the day, it's the ability for us to say, okay, what can we do to make your banking easier for you?
Experience what it's like to be first at fbcentralohio.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. We'll say that again. Real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. Pick your flavor, pick your mix-ins, or try one of our featured recipes. And get an ice cream quake made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes, new from United Dairy Farmers.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Want to know anything about the Fan's contests, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Window Nation. Now buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus a free entry door with a house of windows. Visit windownation.com.
All right, before you take us home, TLC, I do have a little breaking news from my man, Matty. Oh. He's very interested in this, and he got me interested in it down in New Orleans. And maybe you already know, but Justin Baldoni his loss, that $400 million lawsuit.
He won.
Justin and Wayfair were suing Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for $400 million, and the New York Times for an additional $250.
Oh my!
Alleging the defamation over that article, all about the drama on which I haven't seen. It Ends With Us, the movie set.
Phenomenal movie,
where she accused him of being almost a sexual predator, and
it wasn't great. Yeah,
and then he felt that was a smear campaign against him.
Yep.
And
what happened?
Dismissed all of it.
The whole thing?
Now he has to defend her claims against him.
Quite the turn.
So the counter suit is gone. The $400 million. Okay. The judge threw them all out.
It's so funny because TLC, AR, and I, we went to dinner. Just the two of us one night in New Orleans.
Just the two of us.
And we were walking home.
In the sky.
And I was saying, AR, you got to check out this lawsuit.
Yeah.
It was crazy because the movie was really good. And it also shines a light on how crazy good actors and actresses are doing their job. Because they had that stuff going on. But when that camera light came on, they went about their business like professionals. What sucks about this is that we're not going to get another movie because I think there's another book where I think it starts with us, whatever it may be, to where obviously they're not getting along. So that ain't happening. But you're telling me he's not reigning victorious right now in this whole situation. It's messy. It's messy.
I mean, but the $650 million that he was suing for is gone. Is not happening.
Yeah.
So she today, as of today, has to feel pretty vindicated.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, TLC, take us the rest of the way.
Oh, hello. You turn on your microphone. That's how it works in radio. All right, we got a fan poll today.
Okay.
Has college athletes getting paid lessened your experience of how you follow college athletics? Yes or no?
On a week-to-week basis, it does. It's exhausting. It feels grimier than it used to. However, as I predicted, what would happen is we're all still going to watch the games. We're all still going to care. And on game day, when that ball is in the air, it matters still. And I don't really focus on the quarterback who might be making more than a pro quarterback or guys that are going to make more money in 2 years than I would save in a lifetime. So I do think that I don't believe that it has lost I haven't lost my feel for it when it's going on. But talking about it and reading about it and hearing all this, it does feel like we've lost some purity of college athletics. But I understand that was gone long ago. And I'm holding on to I don't know what I'm holding on to because even back then, guys were getting paid. It just wasn't to this level. So I think we could tolerate the $500 handshakes, not the $500,000 handshakes. But everything's gone up, so it's all relative. And so I would answer that. Are there choices or is just one or the other?
Just yes or no? Yeah. Or open-ended?
I got to be honest.
Slightly.
I'm not sitting there on Saturdays, or I haven't yet, watching the Jeremiah Smiths of the world.
Not on game day,
the
right?
The Kate Klubniks, the Carson Becks. Like, I'm not watching those games thinking about dollar figures.
You know what will happen, Maddie?
What about when you watch UCLA this year?
How much UCLA will I be watching?
Well, fair. You know what? Good point.
No, but
that's a very fair point.
I think your question is fair because when I see Nico this year, I will think about the story. I will. But I don't think about other players, TLC, around the country that are the star players of college football and think about how much money they're making. I'm not wired that way. It doesn't bother me. But it is pretty wild out here.
Where it might crop up is a couple years ago when I predicted, will we get this push for playoff money? And will I sit out? And I'm part of a 10 seed. We can't win it all anyway. I'm not going to play. But we've already had opt-outs. So even that's been diluted, right? Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave didn't play in the Rose Bowl because it wasn't a playoff game. It didn't matter to them. They were going to be big-time pros. And there was some blowback. But every time, listen, the first guy through the wall always gets bloodied. So it's been diluted for me now. So the weird answer is, It hasn't. Could it? I guess I'll still give that time.
I think it definitely affects the off season because going through
week to week.
I think one of the best, and this is a little bit hypocritical because of what we do, what we cover, but I would really, really like it if broadcasters would stop laying out the entire transfer path of every single player who catches a pass. The blank transfer, the this transfer, the that transfer. Just say his name.
I hear you.
That's good enough because you're really beating it into the ground. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy played for 2 different teams the past 2 years.
Or like last year when they kept reminding us that Ryan Williams is 17 years old.
Holy moly.
That was every single week. I know we'll tip this over
Rule
for
69,
AR.
give me an updated family tree.
Where the pot will really boil over for ARs when he sees one of these players get off a private jet on their own without that.
No, then I'll actually feel vindicated that I got it right.
Hey, if you missed anything from our show, you can always catch up wherever you get your podcast. All you got to do is type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do will be waiting there for you. Subscribe to the pod as well. Our podcast is sponsored by the great folks over at Bet365.
All right, back tomorrow at high noon. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Bobby Carpenter demands that you watch Morning Juice on YouTube. If you don't, Tito will move into your house.
Live at 6 a.m. on YouTube and streaming on the Fan app.
Hey, it's Anthony. Comfort is king. We all strive for it, but life gets in the way. You know that. And oh, my aching feet is not just a cliche. That's why the Good Feet store, in my opinion, has the best arch support solutions engineered to help you and me live the life we love without pain. For more than 30 years, they've taken great pleasure in helping thousands discover the comfort they've been dreaming of. I'm a customer. I have their 3-step system put right into all my shoes. They support, balance, and strengthen my feet and really guide them right into their ideal position. Every step I take, every move I make, I get relief. Not from the song, although I love that, but from my personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. Your free fitting is designed to help them understand you, your pain, and your discomfort, your personalized system. You'll walk out wearing your new arch supports hassle-free and begin living the life you love without pain. The Good Feet store on Stringtown Road in Grove City or Polaris Parkway. Learn more at goodfeet.com.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
It's child's play to donate your car, truck, RV, or boat to Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Ohio. They'll pick it up free of charge, steer you through the paperwork, and a hefty tax deduction rolls your way as you help provide a home away from home for families of seriously ill hospitalized children. For more information about donating your vehicle to Ronald McDonald House Charities, visit rmhc-centralohio.org or call 614-CARS-HELP. That's 614-CARS-HELP.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Leslie, what's that hot lamp against your window for?
Pella windows are tested up to 160 degrees, Wilson, to ensure efficiency and the lowest energy bills possible, even in the craziest of temperatures. Put your hand on there.
All right. God, that's hot.
On the window, Wilson.
Oh, hey, that is quite nice and cool. So I'm going to go grab some ice now.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for innovation at PellaColumbus.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road or online at germaintoyota.net.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
There's a huge focus in America today about your health, and you're determined to look beyond the pills. You don't want to have surgery, because I know I didn't. So you want to talk to the person that's in pain right now? Well, that was me. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you love, and maybe you've done everything you can. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for my friends at QC Kinetics. They're different. They're not about those quick fixes. This isn't going to be some shot that's going to make you feel better. It's not a surgery that's going to put you on the shelf. They're about long-term relief. This is regenerative medicine we're talking about right here. Your own body's healing properties to heal the damaged tissue at the cellular level. QC Kinetics, they've helped tens of thousands of people, so many of them right here in the Columbus area and across the country. They'd be honored to help you just like they helped me with my knee, just like they helped my dad. Here's what they're going to do. They're not going to mask the pain. They're going to go to the source of it. So go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus to see if you're a good candidate, or give them a call at 380-28-4544. They've got offices in Dublin and in Gahanna and newly in Canal Winchester and Grove City.
With over 33 years in business, Newman Roofing believes white glove services shouldn't be a thing of the past. From the first call, you'll be greeted with friendly professionals to answer all your questions. Special financing options available now, so call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com.